You do dum-dum, you give me gum-gum.
Tell you what, we could have had a good life together. Fucking real good life. Had us a place of our own, but you didn't want it, Edith. So what we got now is a Sunday movie marathon. I'm Max with a bad throat.
I'm Darcy with the good throat.
That's what we call you?
Yeah.
How we all been?
We're definitely a lot better than you are.
Thank you.
I'm shattered, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been what day is it? Wednesday?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been like the longest week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah, and it's only going to get
Not
longer.
what you want. No, it gets shorter as it goes along, Darcy. That's how the week works.
Doesn't feel that way.
It only gets longer in the land of the Sunday movie marathon. Sorry if I do not sound the best, but I'm not feeling the best. I've got a bad throat, so if I sound like I'm about to die, that's why. I'm not about to die.
You are.
I'm not. I'll never die on the Sunday movie marathon. This place makes me immortal.
Hell yeah.
But it doesn't give me my voice back. It's really fucking annoying.
To be fair, I'd like to think that if you died on the podcast, I wouldn't upload it.
I'd like to think you would, my friend.
I think you should.
You
in the
definitely
honour
should.
that is Max's last final
Horrific
words of
sounds.
breath. Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on how you
So how
die, of
painful,
course.
how painful it sounds.
To be fair, you don't sound that bad, though.
Thank you. I don't feel that bad. It's just, it's fine if I don't talk. But this is a podcast, and that's all it is. So
Yeah, you just sound like you're trying to keep it down to not wake someone up.
that's about what I'm trying not to wake myself up. Trying not to do any further damage to my voice. It's been really fucking annoying because like we're trying to write music, me and Chris, so for our band, the Midwinter Seas. But I can't
Shameless
do
plug.
that if I can't sing, and I can't do any of that shit. So that's very annoying. So I'm just, maybe the podcast is not a good thing to be doing right now, but I wanted to talk about the great trilogy that we've got to talk about today, and a few other things as well.
Yeah.
You guys watched, I'm going to talk about The Umbrella Academy Season 3. Just came out on Netflix. You guys watched this shit?
I watched half the first season. Couldn't really get into it.
Oh.
I haven't watched any of it. I read, like, the first graphic novel, and that's about as far as I've gotten.
Yeah, our boy Gerard Way.
Yeah, that's why I got it in the first place. And then when I saw them making a TV show out of it, it came out just a little bit too late for me to give a shit about it.
Yeah. He's our boy, that Gerard Way.
Yeah.
He's our one. Belongs to the emos back in the day.
Stan.
He made a comic with someone else whose name I don't remember. And then they made it into a show on Netflix, and it's got loads of people in it. It's all about superheroes. Who you fucking guessed it? That's all the rage nowadays. So that's what they did. Superheroes. Netflix thought, wow, they've got it down with those Disney Marvel movies. They got it not really down with the DC movies. We want a piece of the pie. This show is good, actually, for what it is, even though it does kind of feel very kind of like a cash grab in a way. It's like, why? Let's just do a superhero one, and then we'll have our superhero one. And, you know,
It's not
what
even
it
theirs.
is, it is theirs. It's a Netflix original.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah, it's not
it's
like
not.
those Marvel Netflix originals that
That were not
got
theirs.
taken away from them.
Yeah. We got Daredevil
Really?
taken away from us, so now
Yeah, it's
we
Disney
have to
Plus
do another
now.
one. Yeah, they're
Oh,
all
I didn't know that.
they're all on there, and none of them are worth watching.
Daredevil was good at first.
Say Daredevil.
I like Daredevil.
I think I saw part of season 2. Anyway.
Yeah, season 3. They did the 3rd season of the Umbrella Academy. It's about, for anyone who doesn't know, these guys, they're in a school, but they're like, this guy adopts like a bunch of kids who are born at the same time and the same circumstances. Like these women just got pregnant immediately and then they gave birth. And these are their offspring. And then this guy buys them, and he's like, you will be my superhero Justice League. And
like
so
some
he makes them
X-Men
into
shit, innit?
the X-Men Justice League Avengers type squad, and they all wear school uniforms. And then they grow up, and it's really about like this, the family dynamic, and they're all like really fucking dysfunctional and they don't get along. I guess that's probably the main pull. I think also like just the characters in general are like really good, honestly. I think they all stand like really well on their own, and I guess that's the pull, is like all the actors are doing a fantastic job. It's like a really easy show to binge through, for me at least. It's quite low commitment. I think I binged it over the course of like 2 or 3 nights. There's like 10 episodes in the 3rd season anyway. They're all kind of the same, like quality-wise, the seasons. It's quite goofy. It's like really goofy, and like a lot of the comedy comes from like how goofy it is, and like I think it's trying to ham it up a bit. I think the problem with that though is that like it wants to have like a bigger impact when things happen, like when characters die. You're like, oh no, this guy just died, but like I don't really care about it. It's like one of the main characters dies in the 3rd season, like near to the end, and then you're like, no. But I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, because nothing really has. It doesn't feel much like it has like many stakes, because like the climax to every season is the world is ending and they need to stop the world from ending. And then every time they do, and that's what happens in like the end of this one. It's like, oh, okay, this guy died, and then like the world was ending, and then they all come back to life in the end. But it's different now because they don't have powers at the end. Spoiler alert. Very sorry. Just look at the description and Chris will tell you. It's a spoiler discussion for me and myself and I. I think, yeah, it's just like the characters that do and the actors who play them who do a really bloody good job. There's Robert Sheehan. I think he's probably my favourite. He was in Misfits. I don't know if you guys watched Misfits back in the day when it was on Channel 4.
I know who he is.
Yeah,
No, I never watched it. It's like one of those shows that literally everyone has like always told me to watch. I've just never got around to it.
I think at least the first couple of seasons on that are worth a watch, because he's really good. He's like the main pull. And then he leaves Misfits, and it's not as good anymore. But he's in this, and I do think he does a fucking fantastic job. He's like this like hippie guy, and he can see dead people, and he's kind of immortal. And I guess his arc through season 3 was like learning how to come back to life a lot, and like quicker and quicker, because he didn't know that he could do that. But he's like such a charismatic guy. I think he's always got like all his clothes and stuff are great, and like he's got like an iconic look, and he's I think everybody just like bounces really well off of each other as well, because it is all about this dynamic, this family dynamic, and you got like this guy called Five, because they all get given like numbers when they're adopted, because like their father like sees them as less than fucking human, and he's like, oh, well, you'll be number 1 and you'll be number 2 and all that, and then number 5 is like this kid who like vanished for a while, and then he never got given like a proper name, and he came back as a kid, and so he's just like this kid played by Aidan Gallagher, and honestly he steals the fucking show. He's fucking fantastic the whole time. I don't know how old he is. He must be like quite young. I would say like teens, early or mid-teens, but he's fucking fantastic, and he's like trying to play like this old man type character, because he like grew up in this apocalyptic world where like he was in the future, and like he fell in love with a mannequin, but he does it so very well, as do all of them. I mean, the only one I'm not like too big on is like Elliot Page. I think he is fine, but like I feel like they could have just gone anybody else and it would have done like a fine job. I'm not like the biggest fan of Elliot Page, which is weird, because he's like, hasn't he been like the most high profile stuff? He's like, oh, he was in Inception and all that, and then like, you get all these, some of them you don't know about.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he was great in Juno.
Yeah, that's true.
I
love
remember
Juno.
even in season 1, I was like not too sure about his character. So
yeah,
I remember that was like the one character where I was like, this doesn't really seem to be much for character.
Yeah, I'm like, I want them to change a bit. It kind of doesn't. I mean, in the 3rd season, it's like, because he played, when he went by Ellen Page, he played a woman called Vanya, and
what a name.
in the 3rd season, Vanya's like, my name is Victor now, and I'm like, that's all right. Like, that's cool. I guess they're
I
kind of
feel like
incorporating that in there.
I think it's kind of
there's no way to
necessary,
like really
innit?
go about that like a different way because like
How do you?
he does look so much different now. Yes, he doesn't want to wear a wig, which is fine. It's not like a huge thing in the show, but it's like, oh, look, that's happened now. But also, I just would have wanted some like character development.
Yeah.
But it's like this like bickering battle between like him and like his sister, who's like, oh, I want to go see my daughter who died in another timeline, and all this shit.
What?
I don't know. Like that was fine. It's just a bit goofy.
Yeah.
Some of it's like goofy in favor of the show, but some of it's goofy. It's like, fucking whatever. Because like, and like some of it just has no impact whatsoever. And it's very stylized. It looks really very good. All the effects, I don't think the effects look like, they're not going for like realistic. It's like, oh, this looks real because it's like a lot of explosions and like blue gooey stuff going on. That's kind of what the show is like. It's got that tone to it, but I appreciate that for the show. Yeah, I like it a lot. I would recommend it to you guys, but I know you don't take recommendations from me anymore, so I'm just not going to.
I do want to give it another go because I remember when I first tried to get into it when season 1 came out, there was a lot I really, really liked about it, but I was just going through like this massive like superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
So I'd like found it really difficult to get into any of the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe I will check it out at some point. But
I've just not watched it, so
after doing that recent Marvel video I've just put out on in superhero fatigue again, so I'm gonna wait a bit. But I would like to go back and check it out again.
It's worth a watch. It's easy watching. It's like, whatever. Just watching them go on their ways. I don't mind that at all. You kind of need that when so many of like the superhero landscape is trying to be very gritty and serious, and sometimes you just want something to like lie back and just have on and like, that was nice. That was okay. This is that. This is like, that was kind of goofy, but I liked it. And what separates it from like being like shit is that the acting is really good and all the characters are really very good, honestly, bar like a couple, but they're all doing very good jobs. Tom Hopper is really good as well. He was he did like a very minor part in the show Merlin, so I was surprised to see him in this. He's supposed to be like this like kind of wolf man. He's like really huge all the time. He's wearing this like huge bodysuit the entire time. I have a feeling it's like, aren't you like hot in there? Isn't like he's like wearing this gorilla suit the entire time? You're like boiling. I'm sure they've got like, I don't know, like water packs in there or like some sort of air conditioning to go through the suit. But he's really good as well. I like him a lot. Great show. Thanks. 7 out of 10 for season. 7 out of 10 for the whole show. Nice. It's a 7 out of 10 kind of show. I do like it.
Cool. We'll give Max's voice a bit of a break before talking about Obi-Wan.
Thank you.
Because Paramount Plus came out in the UK last week.
Yeah, we had a little
Darcy
bit of a dabble on it, didn't we?
Had the trial for the last week. I actually think the like layout of the service is decent. Like the app's actually really easy to use. It reminds me a lot of the layout of Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's not that hard to navigate.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
good. There's a lot of really good content on there, depending what you're into. Paramount do have a huge backlog and a huge catalogue, and I do think they've picked a lot of good stuff on there. I think my biggest problem with it is just there isn't enough to justify the price tag. It's like the same price as like Disney Plus or like Netflix or any of those services, and I just don't think there's enough on there to justify it. Also, the original stuff is pretty bad from what we watched.
What did you watch?
So I watched the first episode of the new iCarly reboot.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That was not the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just kind of like a generic sitcom in a way.
Yeah.
They've updated it so it's more for the people who grew up with iCarly who are a bit older now, so it's a lot more mature. There's like sex jokes, swearing. The characters like drink a lot in the show as well. Yeah. But the style of humor and stuff is still basically the same thing as iCarly. It's just a lot of bad puns and
That's annoying.
that sort of stuff.
It's like going for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia vibes, but
Yeah.
bringing the Nickelodeon twang to it.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the characters now as well and what they've done with them. In the show at the moment, Freddie lives with his mum again, with his stepdaughter, I think it is. He's been married and divorced twice since the show ended, and he has split custody with one of the stepdaughters from one of those marriages.
Wow.
Carly, nothing's really changed. Sam's not in it.
Yeah.
She's in the show, joined a biker gang.
Oh, great. Wasn't like Sam and Freddie an item in the show?
Yeah.
But did they end it when they were an item, or?
Yeah, the original show ended when they were still together.
Oh, that's a shame then.
Yeah.
I guess if Jeanette McCurdy doesn't want to do it anymore, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
You got to make Freddie divorce 2 times with his mum again.
But yeah, it's all right, I guess. I was going to say I might watch the rest of it, but the trial runs out tomorrow, so maybe not.
You're not going to get a renewal?
No.
Great.
What was it? The Patrick Star show that finally tipped
so we
you
watched
over?
the 2 SpongeBob spin-off shows that are on there.
Oh, and don't forget the Rugrats.
Oh yeah, and the new Rugrats reboot as well.
Bad.
So you got
All
Camp
pretty
Coral,
bad.
which is one of the SpongeBob spin-offs, which is literally just SpongeBob as a baby, pretty much. So SpongeBob was like a child with all the other people from Bikini Bottom also as children, because apparently everyone in Bikini Bottom's the exact same age. They're all at summer camp together.
That's cool.
And it's just a baby show.
Even like SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs.
I don't think Mr. Krabs was in it.
Well, you shouldn't be, because he was an adult.
No, Plankton's like works there as like the canteen guy.
Crazy.
Squidward's a camp counselor, so he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
But there's loads of things that don't make sense about the show, like Sandy's there. Even though in like the first episode of SpongeBob, you see Sandy and SpongeBob meet, but that apparently didn't happen.
Yeah.
How can she be from Texas if she was just there the whole time?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
The show is like all 3D animated and it looks awful. It's like,
oh no,
it's trying to be really detailed, but at the same time you can tell it's very low budget, so it just looks really confused and shitty. The jokes are all really cringy. It's literally, like I said, it's a baby show. I don't think anyone over the age of like 4 is going to enjoy it.
That's funny. I watched a few of those old SpongeBob seasons on Netflix a few months ago. They hold up, man. They're really, really very good. That show, like in its prime, some of the best.
Yeah, Paramount Plus also has every episode of SpongeBob, so me and Darcy have been watching loads of it the last few days, and it's been really good. Like the classic episodes still hold up. Like the jokes are so great. It's just really good. The Patrick Star show was also really bad. That one's 2D animated. It's like, I can't even remember the premise. It was like Patrick lives at home with his family.
He's got a sister who's like a triangle or something.
Yeah, and he's like got his own like talk show, or maybe it's like a imaginary like talk show thing that he's putting on in his house. I don't really remember. I just
like
remember
King of Comedy.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It was just really cringy.
Well, that sounds cool.
Wow. So, the Rugrats.
That was terrifying.
That's same sort of animation as Camp Coral. It was all 3D.
It's kind of hellish though.
Yeah, the framing is really awkward as well, where like all of it's like really horrible close-ups of the characters. It looks so cheap and rushed. It
sounds
kind
like
of
Paramount Plus as a whole.
Yeah, it's like the episode we watched felt like a classic Rugrats episode, but like the humor was much more like for today's sort of youth. So there's a lot more like gross out and stuff.
Right? They get their smartphones out. Time to cancel this fool.
Yeah, it was like that kind of shit, and a lot more like gross out and slapstick and stuff than the original show had. What else have we watched? Oh yeah, we watched the new Beavis and Butthead movie. That's like probably the only good original thing we watched.
It was alright. It was okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I've never seen the original. Well, I say the original run as if I was like old enough to be around at that time. But yeah, I haven't seen the original show, so I didn't. I mean, Chris went. Depends on your kind of humor. You're either going to hate this or think it's really funny. I feel like it was somewhere in between, to be honest. I actually did laugh at things that were just like not even supposed to be funny, but were funny. It was alright, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it was like Beavis and Butthead was one of my like massive obsessions when I was a teenager, like along with Jackass. Like they were like the two things I used to watch all the time.
You're so mature, Chris.
Yeah. So it was like it was kind of nostalgic watching this new thing. It was like a lot of fun as well. Don't know if it was really necessary, but I enjoyed it.
I was telling Max at the cinema the other day about how and we'll get to the cinema shit later, but about how this was like its own Doctor Strange multiverse movie because it was like set in its own.
It's like multiverse shit starts
and I was like,
coming.
what the fuck?
That's a trending thing.
Yeah,
everybody wants to get in on the multiverse madness and mayhem.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really lean heavily into it. It's just
it's kind of like I think they use it almost for like plot convenience because the plot is so like batshit that the only way it makes sense is to have these multiverse type things happening. But I think they mention it like 3 times in the whole film. You kind of just pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, I know they're them doing a new show that's coming out later in the year for Paramount Plus, and a lot of the film did feel like it was just setting up that show, like setting up
Beavis and Butthead show?
Yeah. It felt like it was just like they were setting up how are we gonna get Beavis and Butthead in 2022.
Yeah, should we
just don't do it.
If they're gonna do it, I hope they bring back Daria. That'd be cool.
Nah,
just make something new.
She should just be in the show like she was originally.
Well, they're meant to be doing a Daria spin-off, I think.
What with it was her mate instead of her, isn't it?
But I don't know if that'll happen.
I don't care about that.
They have to do a spin-off with everyone for everything that you remember from your childhood.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how will you remember that was part of your childhood?
How will you give them more money?
How will you go, oh, I remember that from when I was a young lad? You won't, because that's nostalgia, baby. That's nostalgia for you. They're doing it with everything and everyone.
That's all it seems that Paramount Plus kind of have, like in terms of original stuff. There's not really anything worth like subscribing for.
Not even the iCarly spin-off reboot.
No,
that's a shame. That was my one thing that I wanted to be awesome.
Although we watched a few episodes of The Adventures of Paddington, which is like a 3D animated Paddington show.
It is the most wholesome
it's
TV
really sweet.
show.
It's kind of
so
it feels
cute.
a lot like the movies, but like on a much smaller scale.
Like I think the animation's slightly better. I don't know. I feel
the animation's like made to look like stop motion.
Yeah,
I think quite interesting.
I don't know. I think he looks better in the show than he does in the movies.
He's
But
played
that's
by
something else.
Ben Whishaw again, and I feel like that's the only person who can play Paddington now.
Yeah, probably. He's very good. As that little bear.
Yeah,
he's like Wolverine in that way. Can only be played by Ben Whishaw.
Yeah, and he's really good in the show as well. Everyone else is like played by someone completely different, and the character designs are nothing like the films, but I liked that they brought him back. But that was, it's a sweet little show.
Cool. I'm excited
Paramount
for
Plus.
Paul King's new one.
Yeah, he's not
Paddington
directing
3.
the new one though.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What?
Well, I'm not going to bother then.
Yeah, I think if he's not written it, he's apparently at least gotten these hands-on with the film. I think he wanted to step out of the directing chair, but I think he's still got a big hand on it.
Who's going to direct that one then? Chris Columbus?
They have announced who it is, but I can't remember who.
We don't even know. Let's search this up.
So for Paddington 3?
Yeah, Paddington in Peru.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they need a subtitle for that.
Oh.
No, it says Paul King on the old Google, but I feel like that's not. Oh, Dougal Wilson has been named the director of Paddington 3. What's this?
That must be like a working...
Nothing.
I've never even heard the name.
It's his first film.
Oh, okay. That could be good or that could be terrible.
Okay. Don't do it dirty, Dougal, because those are gems and everybody agrees.
Yeah, you've got big shoes to fill, my dude.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah, it's fine. He
Also, I hear
came
about
from Peru to
that
be
Wonka
with me
film.
and you.
He's now focused on the Paul King. Paul King is doing the new Wonka movie, I
Yeah.
think. So
Is
that'll
that the
be
one with
interesting.
Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah.
That looks like
for
shit.
Netflix.
I don't know why.
It could be
I,
alright.
I think about that movie and I'm like, I kind of think it's going to be like a nightmare. I kind of want it to be like a nightmare, like
Oh, like a surreal dream.
you know that the Gene Wilder's one
Yeah,
where he goes through the tunnel and like they're all like
Yeah.
going insane and he's singing
it's like
at the
hellish.
beginning of Through the Loop by Pendulum. Yeah, I want it to be like that the entire way through. I want Timothy Chalamet to just be off his fucking mind.
It could be, but I've seen like, I don't know, there's like one shot where someone had photographed him from like outside the house because they saw him shooting it, and he just looks cool. I don't know, but I think they're going to try and make it cool rather than
Sexy.
silly.
He's a sexy Wonka.
Just
They
like
made
chilling in
Willy
his
Wonka
coat. Like,
cool and sexy.
yeah, I don't think he should be cool and sexy. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's insane. That's why I love that movie. Not the Johnny Depp one,
No.
the Gene Wilder one.
Oh, I actually love the Johnny Depp one, but then
Yeah.
I watched that one before the original one, and it's like night and day in it, really.
Yeah, one's good and one's a piece of shit.
Luckily, I'd watched that one beforehand. I didn't really have much to compare it to.
If the new Wonka comes out, we could do a trilogy of those movies.
We could. They are all well. I mean, I think those two movies are slightly different, aren't they? They're not quite the same.
No.
No.
Same story, it's just told differently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The first one's like more fucked up.
Yeah.
fucking insane, isn't
It was Willy Wonka, because he was like screaming at people, and going to the tunnel,
it? And killing them.
Like, he was amazing in that role. I think.
Yeah.
Not Johnny Depp, Gene. Anyway, what did we want to talk about first? The Obi-Wan show or the Black Phone?
Maybe a black phone, so we
Okay.
can all come in for
Can all
Obi-Wan.
come in for an Avengers type moment
Yeah.
at the end. Or the middle, we should say. So we watched the Black Phone. Me and
did.
Darcy went to the cinema because Chris didn't want to, and it's a good thing you didn't, because you wouldn't have been able to come in with us. You would have had to sit behind us. So Black Phone, it's from this year. It was directed by Scott Derrickson, who directed Sinister, I think, and Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
the first one. This is a movie about Ethan Hawke wearing a mask and abducting kids. And a kid gets abducted, and he's like, shucks, I guess I gotta get out of this one. How am I gonna get out of here? And we try to see him like escape, and he is in an abusive household, and it's a lot about like kids being abused.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So, I wanted to see this movie. I thought it looked okay, but I don't know, whatever. Wanted to see a movie.
I can't say I had seen like much about it, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think
Scott
on the-
Derrickson and Ethan Hawke. Why
yeah,
not?
I saw it like on the bus. You know, like you see those like adverts on like a phone box. I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah.
And then Max was like, oh, should we go and see it? And
Yeah,
we're
saw
like,
the
yeah,
trailer
yeah,
a couple
sure.
of times. I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Not that bad. So we go into the cinema. And
All
this
right,
is
here we
where
go.
everything goes wrong. So beforehand, I meet Darcy after she's finished with work. She's like, I should go get dinner. I'm like, all right, I'll pay for dinner and then you pay for the cinema ticket. So we get dinner, and get like a macaroni cheese type deal, which was very nice. And Darcy had something I don't remember.
It was garlic ciabatta with cheddar cheese. So it was basically cheesy garlic bread.
Starting the night off right, and
It was bloody good.
It was bloody good food at the old Bolt Forester, and so then we walked all the way to the cinema, which is like a half-hour walk. It's not that long, and we go into the cinema. I'm like, give me 2 tickets, because the automated ones, they're not working. The automated the ticket machine, not working. I'm like, give me 2 tickets to the Black Phone at 8 45. So we get given these tickets, and then we walk around for a bit. And we're like, oh, just go on a walk because it's like half an hour left until the showing. We go back half an hour later. Like, here you go, my man. Here's 2 tickets. We're going to see the Black Phone. And he's like, this showing is not until like an hour from now. I'm like, my friend, please look at those tickets again, and I think you'll find you're wrong. And he's like, I'm not wrong. And then I looked at the tickets, and I was wrong. And he was like, I'm like, wow, for fuck's sake. He's like, you're going to have to wait in the line again. I don't want to wait in the line again, Greg. I just waited in the line for ages. It's a Saturday night. It's a Saturday night. We're here. And I have to wait in line again. It's chocker block. Okay. Emphasis on the block. And I'm like, excuse me, you fucked this up, actually. I'm really mad at you. And she was like, I'm so sorry. Here, I'll do another one. And when we can't get the seats that we wanted, because we wanted VI fucking P.
Yeah, I got £4 refunded to me. And Max is looking at the screen. I can't see the screen, so I'm just trusting Max right now.
We have to get the standard seating.
And he's literally like turning his head slightly, looking at me like he's about to like eat his own fucking like face off so he doesn't have to like, you know, cry or kill someone. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I couldn't stop laughing. And just from then on,
I was pissed off, and then like we had to wait in like a queue to get in while they cleared out like someone's blood from the theatre, and then
wait,
like, oh, sorry about that. That was crazy. It's just so much rubbish in there. It wasn't blood. It was like rubbish, but it might as well have been blood.
Oh yeah, because they were acting really, really weird. Like, I went to the toilet and I came back and I was like going into this screen, and Max was like, "That was the wrong screen.
Yeah,
that is like, Top Gun Maverick."
That's what happened before. Like, I went into a screening of Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, "These fools are in my seat." But like, Top Gun Maverick was just playing.
I'm so glad I went to the toilet first. I would have died.
I went into the screen that was on the.
It's literally right next to it. It's like on the outside. Yeah.
It was like another screening that I thought. It was like, I looked at the tickets that we'd got for the showing that was an hour later, and then I went into that screening, but it was just Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that makes so much sense now. I was like, why did you walk into there? Did you see this long like queue of people who are like going into the same film? And it was packed. It was like rammed.
It was rammed, yeah. And like it's really loud. Like they don't understand how to do anything in that fucking cinema.
Max spent like almost the whole interim of like these like adverts and trailers just like complaining about how like incompetent like staff are, and he's just like, it's like being tortured at Guantanamo Bay, and I could not stop laughing. Like even when I'm thinking back at it just. Oh, yeah. It was
they
like one of those days. They always
play a fucking trailer or like an advert where John Boyega comes on the screen and he's like, you shut the fuck up, okay, and stop looking at your phones.
Yeah, Max was like almost quoting it word for word.
I've seen it so many times.
And he was like, I need to stop coming here.
It's my only mainstream cinema that's like right near me. But yeah, so I know that off by heart, and they edited that trailer so that it's got dinosaurs in it for the new Jurassic World Dominion. So you got dinosaurs flying around while John Boyega's screaming at you to shut up and like not go on your phones. It was like Lynchian. It's like whole David Lynch's fucking phone speech. That's what it is, distilled into like a 5-minute long ad. But the movie was good. The movie's good. I quite liked it, and I think Chris would have liked it if he came, but he didn't. I don't think Darcy shares my sentiments all that much. I mean, I won't say that it's like a perfect movie. I just found it fun and entertaining, you know? It's like kind of what you expect it to be, but also like it is really goofy, and like a lot of the dialogue kind of sucks, but like that's what you have fun with.
Yeah, like
you know?
there was parts where me and Max were just audibly like laughing, but no one else was like actually laughing. But I think it's because me and Max found like the dialogue so like
terrible,
stupid that we found it really
else
funny.
Was laughing.
There was a part where I was like overtly like laughing, but I think it was just because it caught me off guard, and I just thought it looked really, really like strange. It's just like this bit where like they like pan up and there's like Ethan Hawke's just like sitting there topless in a chair, and I'm just like, I just burst out laughing.
with this fucking hammer or something.
It
He's
really
like,
caught me. I was
I
like,
hope this
shit.
kid comes up those stairs so I can kill him.
I remember a lot of the writing for Sinister was quite silly as well. Like, pretty
Yeah, it
sure
has
the
that
main
theme,
villain's
yeah.
called Mr. Boogie or something like that.
Yeah, he is, I think. I only saw that movie like once, maybe even just half of it. Yeah, this is, I don't really remember what I thought of that. I think Scott Derrickson is a decent director. I think this is a very well-directed movie. It falters a bit when it's like trying to tell a story, because it can't. It's got a decent atmosphere though. It's quite creepy. Like with its the way it wants to like put you into this world. I found a lot of that to be quite fun. It's just like it is too reliant on jump scares though, and like every time like there's a scare, like it's just like a loud hit of music and everyone goes, ah, that was scary. And there was like one that was like there was a jump scare that panned over to like a body hanging in like suspended in midair, and it was like bleeding, and everybody jumped at that because it was just so scary. But like it was like immediately after like the stupidest fucking line ever, so I was just laughing. It was like the kid's like in the basement locked up, and like he can hear the voices of previous victims on this black phone that's disconnected on the wall. And like he's talking to this guy, and that he knew when in the first scene he was playing baseball, and that guy he was playing baseball with him, and then so like, oh, what's Finney? He was like, your name's like Greg or something, and like you play baseball. Don't you remember you play baseball? Because they're all like dead, I guess, and they're like just speaking to him through memories. He's like, you play baseball, don't you remember? And then the fucking kid says, we don't play baseball here. And I just burst out laughing, and then the jump scare happened, and I just couldn't I had no reaction to the jump scare because I was just laughing at that fucking stupid line. There's a lot of stupid shit. It's like he's on the phone to a kid and he's like, my dad was in Nam.
The Nam bit was so funny because he was like, oh, you won't leave your buddies in Nam. I won't leave you. I'll never leave you. I was always with you. Oh, there was some proper like cringe out bits. So like there's this did Chris even care about the spoiler? You don't
care.
Yeah, so there's this bit where he's talking on the phone and he's been told to grab this like rope thing and like climb up to this window and take off the bars. And he goes up there and he like loses the grip of the bars, and then he like smacks himself on the head and like lands on the floor, and it's like the most like
the bars come loose and smack him on the head.
Like the noise is just ungodly.
Really good sound design in this movie. It's like really great. I found it to be like really violent, a really violent movie, which I'm not usually like on board with, like violence for the sake of violence, but I do think they do a good job with it. I mean, it is like also like violence against children, which is like an extra like, oh fucking hell. But like when his sister's being like getting her ass beat by the dad, she's like screaming and crying. I'm like, this is so disturbing.
Yeah, like I'm just sitting there watching it, and I kind of like, you watch scenes in films sometimes where you just kind of want to look away because it's just like almost like unbearable. It was just like
it is horrible to watch.
It just feels so bad.
It's horrible to watch these kids getting beaten up by adults and like beating each other up and like implied killing just like a bunch of kids. That like if it was not handled as well as they did, I would probably mark it down. But like I do think it's trying to say something about that, and like it's not like the story is not really that great, as I said, because like at the end of the day, like we don't even know why this guy's doing what he's doing. He's just like a guy he's the grabber and he grabs kids off the street. Yeah,
it's never actually explained.
And he
and
never
I thought
says
it would
like,
be.
I'm doing it because of this. He's just like a fucking awful person.
Yeah, because he talks about there's these bits where he talks about like things being like messed up and things have been done wrong and things, but they never really go into like what
things have been done.
What has been done and why why is he the grabber? Like, Like, is he mentally not okay? Like, I don't know.
He's
There's
like,
just
I'll let you go in a bit.
so
or
many things
something.
don't make sense.
I thought like maybe he was like communing with like other people or something, and like it would feed into a grander narrative, but it didn't. And then he dies. The kid kills him in the end, which was, I mean, it's a bit like, oh, okay, so like what was that guy's deal? We don't know. But it was also a very good third act climax fight scene kind of thing, where like he's trying so hard this whole time to get out of this basement, and like all the ways he's trying to do, he's like digging a hole in the ground. He loosens like the grating on the window that like smacked him in the face, and like he tunneled a hole through into like a kitchen, but like he only hit like a locked fridge, so like he couldn't get out through that way. And you're like, this whole time I'm like, so what was the point of all that?
Yeah, it's all like all futile.
It does all come together, and like he uses all of it in the end, and that's what gets him out. So it's not like these different passages to get through were direct passages to get out. It was like they all came together in the end, and they got him out. And if he hadn't have done it, even one of them, he wouldn't have gotten out. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, the other like gross out where like the grabber runs down and there's like ankle like snaps, and you can like you can hear it and see it.
Yeah, we all know how I feel about
snapping
like, ankles.
Shit.
As I did my ankle in last month as I'm speaking, and not a fan of ankle snapping. Like we saw men that had it in there, it had it in this. It's just I don't like it anymore.
Like,
I don't like seeing it.
I turned around and I looked at Max, and he had we've seen Max do this face before, where he goes like that, like whole like grin, it's like he's doing this. Yeah. He's like cringing like visibly, and I'm sitting there thinking,
I know the pain. Yeah.
It looked awful.
It's like even worse than what happened to me and all this shit. He like falls down a hole, but it's like not even, it's like shoulder deep, and he's just like writhing around in this hole. He's just screaming, and he's like getting punched, like smacked in the face with this phone that he loaded up with soil like over and over again. I'm like, I wish we'd have known like why he wore the mask, or like why he was so afraid when it got taken off of him. Yeah,
like I thought maybe he was, I don't know, was he going to be like...
It's like, no, and he like covers his face so he can't like attack him, and then he smacks him with the phone. I don't know. I would have wanted a bit more from that character, because I really like Ethan Hawke and what he kind of brings to the role. It's not like a role I would have really envisioned for him. I don't often associate with him with like villainous roles, really.
No, we've had like two this year. We've
got dark Ethan Hawke now. This is what he's doing.
I feel like
I'm here for it.
Yeah, they could have done quite a lot with this character, and they kind of
they just didn't bother.
But
like because he's so charismatic.
Yeah, maybe it's just not about him though, is it really?
It should have been.
It was about Finny boy.
It was barely about him. It's like, I guess I gotta get out of here. Okay.
The psychic sister.
Why was she psychic?
I don't fucking
know.
Why
was she psychic? She was like, my mom was psychic, and so am I, Dad. And her dad's like, no, you're not. The dreams are just dreams. And he like smacks her.
You're psychic, and your mum was mentally ill.
She was like praying to Jesus though, and that was like fun.
Oh my god, that bit that made us audibly laugh.
She like has dreams.
What the fuck? She
has dreams, and like they come to life, and then the police like actually like they're like, oh okay, I guess that's true. And then they like bring her along to like the investigations. It's like fucking watching the Batman or something.
It was really funny.
And then like her dream, like something happens in her dream, and then like I guess like Finn doesn't get out or something, or like something horrible happens to him, and she's like, she goes to a like cross, and she goes, Jesus, what the fuck? Like she's like her faith is disturbed and all that, and I liked all that. I kind of again, it's just like a lot of good ideas that I think could have been developed a bit more, but they didn't bother with it.
Yeah, they could have made the film longer if they were gonna kind of go into these things, but they kind of. Yeah.
I think it was like, I thought it was also going for like kids disappearing, and like just in like life, like kids often disappear, and like you just don't know, and like so many kids are like, and these kids were like forgetting their own names, and it's like over like time, like there's so many things that like, happen, like school shootings and like kids go missing or kids die or all this stuff, and it's like it's a lot about like abuse against children, and I wish they'd have gone further in with it than they did, because that could have made for an interesting story, but I don't know. I don't think it really wanted to. It was just like, yeah, this is the new horror, this is the summer horror movie that you got to watch. I think people liked it in the cinema. They were jumping about. They're like, oh, fuck. Look, his nipples are out. That's crazy. And, you know, for what it is, it's quite creepy. It is quite creepy, but I do think it falls into a lot of the same tropes that we're used to seeing. And that's just what kind of brings it down for me in the end.
Yeah, I didn't go because I knew it was going to be like pretty much all modern horror movies nowadays just rely so heavily on jump scares, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't get anything out of it. It just, like, I jump really easily, so it's just going to be me jumping loads for like an hour and a half, and I just don't have fun.
I think there is only like 4 real jump scares. Everything else is just kind of like, you know, when you're trying to like build up tension.
Yeah,
it's good for the atmosphere.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's a lot better when you're watching a horror movie with, like, say, like a theatre full of people, because when they shit themselves, they all do that thing that the British thing is to laugh afterwards, like, oh, you got me, oh, you got you, and you, and you, and you, and everyone's just like laughing.
Did that get you? That got me. Oh my God, I was so scared. But yeah, okay, I get it.
I just don't get anything out of movies like that, so.
No, I missed one of the jump scares because I was looking down, looked back up, and I went, for fuck's sake.
I don't know. I don't think it's like entirely a movie like that, though. I do think there's really there's a lot of artistry behind it, and I think Scott Derrickson did a very good job with it. It is a good movie. It's just not amazing. I don't think it's fun enough for me, for what I'm looking for. And you know, there is fun in just like the corny dialogue and all that shit going on. But overall, I just think it was an interesting concept that I wish they'd have gone further in with.
Yeah, I will watch it because I do like Sinister, and he did another movie called The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh yeah,
which I quite liked. So I think he's a good director.
Yeah, he is good. And I would watch this again, honestly, but I would maybe just only like the one more time. Yeah, he's definitely like a director where I'm like, he makes a movie and I'm like, okay, what's this about? Even if it's not like the best thing in the world. I usually have fun with them.
Well, supposedly it is based on a short book or a short story or something.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe that would be worth a read.
That was in the credits. It's like based on the Black Phone. The credits were like really good, I thought.
Yeah, they were cool.
Like all that happened in like this like it's like shot like really grainy film and like all scattershot editing and like the van that's going around. That was already like interesting and creepy.
It kind of reminded me of because you know the sounds a bit weird, but you know the intro to Succession where it's like all like oldie footage and it's like cut in the way that they kind of like it goes kind of like they're kind of like that. It actually reminded me a lot of that, and I was like, oh, this is kind of sick, to be fair.
It reminded me of like American Horror Stories sort of intro. Yeah. If that was like good.
I've only seen the first season, I must admit.
Yeah, I heard it's shit now.
Yeah, hasn't it been on for like, I don't know,
probably
8 seasons
like
now?
10 seasons now.
Yeah,
I gave up on season 6.
It's just, there's just
surprised
too
you got
many,
that far into
man,
it.
Yeah.
I think I gave up with that in like season 5 when they did like Hotel and Lady Gaga showed up, and I was like,
I had the first 2 or 3 like the best ones.
The Hotel, but I got through it, and then I started the next season. I was like, this is actually just unwatchable at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my first season.
I think season 6 they tried to do like a true crime fake documentary sort of thing.
What?
And it was really cringy.
Oh, okay.
The Black Phone. Yeah. If we're going to give it a rating.
Okay.
Out of Ethan Hawke's. I'd probably give it like a 6. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was okay. I think maybe I'll need to watch it again. I'm going to give it 5 Ethan Hawke's for now. Yeah, like it was like no real disrespect to the film. I just think that I found quite a lot of it just to be like really stupid, so I didn't have much of an opinion of it either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
Ah, well.
I was going through Scott Derrickson's filmography and I completely forgot he directed Hellraiser 5.
How many Hellraisers are there?
There's like 10 of those
What
movies.
the fuck?
But
It's just not
Hellraiser
necessary.
5 is actually one of the better ones. So it's not good, but it's one of the better sequels.
I like the first one. I don't need to watch any more of those.
I like
No,
that.
no, actually, the second one's really good.
No, I don't care.
But
You definitely don't need 10 movies.
Like all those movies are like an afterthought. Like they made a good movie and they were like, let's make
Yeah,
more
but
of
isn't
these
that-
ones.
And that kind of like, you know,
All of them.
most...
Yeah, it's like most. So we watched the new Star Wars show that was on Disney
speaking of
Plus.
afterthoughts.
Speaking of afterthoughts,
Oh my god.
we watched an afterthought
Ouch.
called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's about Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars universe 10 years after the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Ben Kenobi is here. He's on Tatooine, and he is just done with fucking everything.
He
Ewan
really
McGregor
is.
is back. He's back as Ben, and he's quite jaded. He's laying low, trying to avoid being caught, as he's one of the only Jedi left, and the Empire are taking down the Jedi. And this guy comes and he's like, Obi-Wan, you got to do one last mission for me. You got to save Princess Leia. And he's like, I don't want to do that. Fuck you. And it's about him doing the mission.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a show without it, really, would there? He says no, but he does it anyway.
It's like a Western.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck you, man.
Is-
All right, where am I going?
It is like a Western. He's like this old guy. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore.
It's like coming out of retirement. He's the John Wick of Jedi.
Yeah, it was like John Wick. If John Wick was like bad.
Yeah, let's be real.
not like the show, not if the show was bad, but like if John Wick himself was like kind of shitty.
Yeah.
If he like went back and he didn't know how to load a gun anymore.
Yeah, like if he was rusty as hell.
Yeah.
I
like this show. I
Yeah.
actually liked it quite a bit. It made me care about the dynamic between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, even though I don't really like those movies. The prequel trilogy. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah.
Controversial take, I know. But
No,
this
oh,
made me
yeah.
care. I'm like, oh, okay, actually, I understand that these guys probably cared about each other. And they do a very good job at like portraying that within the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that actually, because I have a guilty pleasure for the third movie. I'm not even going to pretend that I don't.
I have a guilty pleasure for all of those movies.
Except
I-
the second one. The second one's awful.
the second one is pretty bad.
I just find 1 and 2 severely boring.
Yeah.
And then 3 is like, it's all right,
Yeah,
but
3's
it's quite
like-
funny.
Yeah, it's me malicious. I would
Yeah,
say.
It's really funny.
The prequels, I think, because I grew up with them, I do have like a massive soft spot for them. But I do think there are actually a lot of really great things going on, even if I don't think the execution's great. And I found that a lot of the prequel era, like lore building stuff they've done outside of those 3 movies has been really interesting. Like the Clone Wars show, I've not watched much of it, but apparently that's really good and that expands upon those characters and what's going on in that era of Star Wars really well. And I thought this one did it really well also. It brings these characters from this trilogy that maybe isn't as good as like the original Star Wars, and it kind of makes it feel much more like what you'd want from Star Wars. It's not all about like taxes and trade federations and politics. It's
It
like,
makes it feel like it mattered.
Well,
Yeah,
the
it's-
public apparently don't agree with that because it's not
No.
very well liked.
no, it's really poorly
Yeah,
received
people don't
for
like
some
it.
reason.
We're like the 3 only people in the world probably
Yeah.
that
Oh,
thought it was
no,
alright.
that's not true.
That's not
It's
true.
like,
No, I know people do like it. Even my dad texted me and was like, "It's actually pretty
This is
good."
awesome.
it's
The finale was
really,
great.
it feels like a love it or hate it sort of
Yeah.
show. A lot of people are really hating some of the decisions they make because they kind of play quite loose with some of the lore
And it kind of
and some of the characters.
uncanonizing things. Sorry, I'm doing
Yeah.
quotations
I
because no
get
one can
that.
see me.
I do completely get that. It's like one big problem I have was like, oh, he like saves Leia and goes on this epic journey with her, but then like it's supposed to feed into, like organically feed into A New Hope, but like,
What, like they know
don't-
each other?
What, like, wouldn't she be like, "Hey, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi"?
Yeah, I think
we had a time that one time.
Yeah, I mean, she does get excited when she finds out he's there. I think a lot of people's argument is like she doesn't care when he dies, but like at the same time, her entire planet was wiped out, so she probably is just like so
Yeah,
like emotionally exhausted at that point.
yeah.
she's
know.
over it.
But I think the girl who played Leia did a very good job
Yeah.
of it. She's really
Yeah, she's
charismatic.
sweet.
She's very good. She kind of she got what that character was supposed to be, especially at like an early age.
Yeah, I think she actually like really nails a lot of like the mannerisms and like speaking patterns of Leia. Like you can tell a lot of work had been put into kind of nailing that.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
don't even have to nail it all the way because like she's a kid.
Yeah,
of
like
course.
it can be sort of little bit, you know what I mean, it can be a little bit rusty because when you're a kid, you're still like figuring that kind of shit out. She was sweet though. I liked
Yeah.
her. I didn't see much of that other kid though, the one who played Luke.
Yeah. I don't mind that though.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't
We
remember
get
if
Luke's
he
thing.
was like in much of it. Like 'cause I think I saw him at the end of one episode, and I don't remember seeing him again.
Yeah, you see him
we
at
see
the
him
end of
again?
one of the earlier. I think you see him in episode 1, and then you see him right at the end of the show.
Oh,
in the
right,
last
okay.
episode, he's in it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I think I completely like blanked on whether I'd like to see him or not because I mean we didn't even finish that show that long ago, but for me it may as well have been like a year ago.
Yeah,
I don't remember
it's like
anything.
a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what people are on about really. Like I don't know what you could really want
I
from a
think
show
peop-
like this.
This is the problem. I
I
think
won't say that it's like perfect, but like
Yeah.
I think it's like really good and like you get like really sick fights, a couple of really sick fights between like
Hell
Obi-Wan
yeah.
Kenobi and Darth Vader, and it's like after like the kind of like old codgery old man fight that they have in A New Hope, it's like you really want some like power behind these hits and like the fight choreography. I thought that they fucking nailed it in this show, and you don't get like a lot of it, but I think you get enough.
I think people are
Yeah.
just really weedy because they're crying about a show about fucking men
Space
wearing
wizards.
tights in space. Like who gives a shit, man? I actually thought the fight scenes were really cool. Also, I kept admiring like everyone's like lightsabers because they had
Yeah.
like really cool ones. Like that woman had one and hers was like a ball
Oh,
or
the
something.
third sister.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
she had like a double-bladed
Yeah, it was sick.
red lightsaber with like it was like a handle on it.
Yeah, it was so sick.
Yeah, it looked like a steering wheel with two lightsabers attached.
Yeah, I actually thought they got quite creative with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's because they didn't really have much to lose, did they? Let's be honest. Like we're getting to the stage now in Star Wars and Disney rhetoric where nothing has to fucking matter anymore. But that's what people seem to care about. They're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. This also doesn't make sense. Oh, how come Darth Vader looks like he's about 97 years old? And it's like, oh, fuck
Yeah,
off,
a lot
shut
of people's arguments, like for why the show sucks, just don't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like people saying, "Oh, how does Ewan McGregor look like this here, but 10 years later he looks super old?"
He looks the
It's like,
same, to
what?
be honest.
I'm not get over it.
It's
Get
like,
over it,
A,
motherfucker.
it's a different actor, and B, he's like on a planet with two suns. Of course, he's gonna age quite badly.
the same jaw structure as Alec Guinness? How about
It is so annoying.
It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Ewan McGregor is fucking amazing. Like, he plays the character
Yeah.
perfectly. He played it perfectly late in the prequel trilogy, and that's why they're going back. Same goes for Hayden Christensen, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't play Anakin perfectly, I don't think, but that's what they wanted to do with that character at the time. But I think he pulled it back in this show.
Yeah, he felt more mature in this somehow.
He's in it a bit more than I thought he would be. I think he's like in the Darth Vader costume.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of the time, yes.
He just does a really good job, and like they have a lot of flashbacks with him. He gets to do some more like acting, and it's like it makes you care about the relationship that these two have, and that they
Yeah.
kind of were like brothers, which it didn't feel like it all that much for me in the prequel trilogy.
No,
No.
I actually, I mean, I didn't pay like much attention to like Star Wars like properly growing up, even though like my dad and my uncle like love it. But I always thought that their relationship was always like quite genuine. Like if I thought that any characters had some sort of connection, it was always those two. but I think it's because of like how well I know the third movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a really great flashback scene where they're like training and they're like basically like fighting each other, but it's like just a training fight. And you can really tell that these are like two people who basically love each other because they're like just having a great time and learning at the same time. And I thought that scene was fantastic. Thought both of them were really great. I really loved the fact that they don't de-age Hayden Christensen. They just kind of put him in the costume and everything. Because although like, yeah, he looks a lot older than he did in the original trilogy, I preferred that than bad CGI that make it look weird.
Yeah, but is it? Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I was about to say because this show is meant to be like after, but you can kind of tell that it's a flashback. Like it doesn't take a lot to realize that Anakin does not look like Anakin when he is now Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Like a flashback, right? Don't be stupid.
Yeah, I also just liked that Hayden Christensen got a bit of a chance to redeem himself because I do think he's a really good actor. I think the problem with the prequels is the fact that the directing was just bad. George Lucas can't direct actors.
He's cool. He's sexy. Whatever.
I don't think his performance was necessarily his fault, and I think he's gotten a lot of unfair criticism because of that.
No, I think he was like the OG, like Kylo Ren, wasn't he? Like he was like the whole like bad boy, dramatic as fuck, like,
whiny bitch.
Yeah. So like,
I
how
thought
come
you
it's
refer to Anakin Skywalker as the OG Kylo Ren?
I mean,
no, but you know, like, yeah, in terms of like whiny dramaticness. So like, how come if it's okay for Adam Driver, it's not okay for Hayden
it's not
Christensen?
okay for Adam Driver though. No one likes the sequels anymore.
No, but that just goes to show that like
I like some of the things they did with the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, but think of it this way. Well,
I'm a bit jaded with it now. I don't really like them that much anymore.
Adam Driver's great.
Yeah,
but he's not amazing in Star Wars. So what does that tell you about Star Wars?
That Star Wars sucks balls.
I think a
it's
lot
just
of
like
people
goofy, you know. It's just like a goofy.
That's what. Yeah,
episodic kind of thing.
That's what I was saying to Chris. Like
It's
me and
about
Chris.
fucking space wizards with fire swords. Like,
oh my god! Say it again. Literally,
imagine people taking it that seriously.
Why
like,
are people
I can never get on board with it.
Why are people getting so angry? It's literally men with tiny light wands in the fucking.
They're not tiny. They're cool and huge.
Okay, huge laser
like
wands.
their cocks.
I don't know. I just don't think it's that deep. But
yeah, I think a lot
whatever.
of people are criticising this show because it's too silly or too stupid. But
Have
it's
they
like,
ever watched Star
that's
Wars?
kind of what Star Wars is. It's just like dumb escapist fun. I don't watch Star Wars for like a really deep, methodical like experience that's going to make me think and is like pure genius.
Well, like, what was that? What was that last film with not the last film? What, number 6, where they have like the space bar, like the dancing in the space bar or whatever. Like, you're trying to tell me this ain't a stupid, goofy franchise?
I mean, you can have a space bar in the first movie.
Yeah.
All right, but you know what I mean? Like, are you really gonna get at me for it being too goofy?
I could have done with it being a bit less goofy. I don't know, like for my own taste, because I do think it was trying to go for like this kind of Western thing where like, yeah, the old jaded Obi-Wan Kenobi and all this horrible shit has happened to him. You want to like, you see he suffered, and I do like that they did that and they took that angle with it. I don't know. I kind of like what I got from it though. Maybe they could have gone further in with it. Maybe they couldn't have. Maybe they could have like taken out a few of the dumb jokes that they decide to put in, like everything, because it's Disney. But you know, I'm happy with what we got from it.
Yeah, when it was it 8 episodes or was it 6? I can't remember.
6, I think.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, but I really like that last fight scene with Vader and Obi-Wan, where like he does kind of get his full strength back at the end, and like he does that whole power rock throw, and he's like, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi again, and then they have this brutal fucking fight scene where they're just like smashing each other over and over again, and like that's what I wanted. Like I wanted like to see Obi-Wan Kenobi fucking crying and like trying to talk to Anakin as if he's not Darth Vader now, and that he's like his brother again. It's like, it was heartbreaking. You know?
Yeah.
I did try to tear up a bit. I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
he just loves him so much.
It's a really sad scene, like when he like breaks his mask and he's like trying to speak to him, and he's like, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did." Which was like a fantastic bit.
It's like
where
stabbing the heart, man.
you like both Hayden Christensen's voice and the Darth Vader James Earl Jones voice overlapping at the same time. It was so insane.
It's fantastic.
And obviously, like Obi-Wan's like goodbye, Darth. That was like really sad.
Oh my god! I was like, how are they going to end this? He should kill him now, but then we wouldn't have A New Hope. And then he just leaves, and I was like, yeah, okay, I understand why he wouldn't kill him. Well, of course,
yeah,
of course he wouldn't.
I really loved the arc of that character, the third sister, as well, who, like, for most of the show you think's like a bad guy, but later on it turns out that she's actually just infiltrated the Empire because she wants to kill Darth Vader. She was like a youngling who her entire, like, all her friends and everyone she was working with, like, were murdered by him in, like, the Order 66 bit in the third movie.
That was really interesting. I liked her a lot, Moses Ingram.
Yeah, she was great.
She played it really well. I like her lightsaber, and I like she is kind of like that kind of character. That's like kind of off to the side. So like, if they had handled it a bit, like if they hadn't given her enough to like work with, probably it would have felt out of place. But it felt pretty much in place, I think. Yeah. And like, she basically like gets killed by Darth Vader. It's like, you thought you could sneak up behind me? Fuck you. And he like stabs her through the fucking gut, which should just have killed her.
Oh my god.
And then she's like, nah, I'm just gonna get up. It was like just pure force of will. It's like, nah,
the
fuck
thing,
this, I'm not
things
done.
that Darth Vader did to some people in this show was just impeccable.
Yeah, there's that really brutal scene where he's like walking through this village.
It's one of my fucking favourite scenes ever in anything Star Wars. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah,
he's crazy.
It's so good, where he like basically just snaps someone's neck.
He just goes through the fucking street. It's like a western. He just like, fuck you, and he just like snaps a bunch of people's necks with the force. He like chokes a woman, I think, and like drags her along the floor. Is like he's like walking across, like trying to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like Obi-Wan's just fucking looking at everything. He's like, oh my god, this man is insane. Like he's killing all these people as he's fucking dragging this woman like with the force, fucking just on the ground. She's fucking screaming. There's so much like guttural screaming that I just never thought I'd see this kind of brutality in anything from like a Star Wars property.
No, but I think it was needed for what they were trying to tell.
You need to sell like, how evil Darth Vader is, maybe even more so than they did in the original trilogy, you know. And when he drags Obi-Wan through the fucking like searing hot coals, and he's just like smashing his face into it over and over again. Oh, it's horrible. He's just like, and Ewan McGregor's just like howling in pain. It was horrendous.
Oh yeah, that bit was one of the most like uncomfortable scenes. I swear, it was just like, will it end? And then the beginning of the next episode where he's like literally just like in pain from like all this shit happening to him. Poor guy.
I really like The Mandalorian as like a show. I think probably that's better than Kenobi, but I think probably the visceral nature is what I'm more grabbing onto here, and like that's like second to none in terms of whatever they've done with Star Wars in the past. It's like they're doing something new with it, and I appreciate that. It's like it's warranted. It's not like they put this out just to put it out. Like they actually had something to say. Or like they had ideas they wanted to explore, and I appreciate that. Yeah,
I agree. It doesn't feel like just filler or cash grab or anything. They actually like, they're trying to add something to the universe and to the lore. And I think it's really interesting. I don't really understand why people are so up in arms with what they're doing. I think it's actually nice to see him trying to do something new.
Yeah. I do think they probably could have gone harder with the music, just for my tastes. I think Natalie Holt did the music for this one. I really liked her score for the Loki show. That was quite weird and interesting. But with this, it's like, all right. It's just like action adventure type stuff. And I don't know, probably could have gone more in like a Western vibe, but I don't know. I guess the Mandalorian's kind of got that down to like maybe something else to try to do something that John Williams would have done with it. I don't know. Probably would have been better for that, but that's like a minor thing. I don't know. But like a lot of like really great sets as well. And you don't spend the entire time on Tatooine, which I was concerned about. You go into like these different places in space, and fucking there's that underwater like Empire station, which is like all kind of green, and like this like really nice tone of green that they have like, running through all of it. And I found just all the set design on that to be like really, really nice. It looks so good.
Yeah, I think they did what they did with the Mandalorian again, where they film it in that
The dome.
Yeah, in that dome where it's like all projected on the screen. So it's like instead of using green screen, they're just in like virtual reality spaces, and it all looks really great.
Yeah, you can't
the effect work is great.
You can't bring back Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to do like another Star Wars thing and then put them in like a CGI environment, like in front of a green screen again. You can't do that to them. They already suffered through it.
Yeah, I also, although it was very brief, I really liked seeing Liam Neeson come in at the end.
Yeah, I've seen so many fucking photos of like him in like an umbrella hat at the end.
Yeah,
I'm like, was he actually? Did he have that?
Yeah, what's that even about?
I liked all that. When like he's kind of like begging to Liam Neeson, to Qui-Gon Jinn. He's like, Master, what do I do? Like I'm so lost and I can't do anything. I'm a shadow of my former self, and like all that was really, really great. Like he's still kind of like reaching out to his former teacher to try and just be better, I guess.
Yeah, I know a couple people who predicted like right at the beginning he was going to show up, and I was like, oh yeah, probably.
I don't even know it was him.
Yeah, Liam Neeson
Darcy was like, who's that?
Oh.
Not like, who's that, but it was like, who's that? And he was like, what, you didn't know that was Liam Neeson?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
No. I think it's because, as I've always said, that when I watched the first Star Wars movie, it was like so fucking long ago that I didn't even realise it was him. Like, I was just too young to know who Liam Neeson was, let's be real. He looks kind of weird, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if it's a look that he should be going for, but it was cool. It was cool.
I thought it was a good effect. I thought they did it very well.
Yeah, I like the holographic kind of thing that they went for.
Yeah, it's like watching Liam Neeson as a hologram in the War of the Worlds show.
Wait, what?
When I went to see the War of the Worlds, the musical, Jeff Wayne's musical for the 40th anniversary, they had Liam Neeson as a hologram on the stage.
Cool. You saw it in real time.
It was like that.
Yeah. I think there's rumours that there might be a season 2 of this. Apparently, I think Ewan McGregor said he doesn't know if they're going to do anything, but he'd 100% be up for doing more of it because he just had a good time.
To be honest. I feel like it's pretty contained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is contained. I mean, if it's a good idea, I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to another season, just as long as it actually feels necessary.
Yeah, this is the problem. I feel like a lot of the time they just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've not watched that Boba Fett show, but I've heard that there's a bit like that. It just feels like they just made it because...
filler. Yeah, I watched all of that and I don't know why.
Well, you persevered.
It was fine. It was just inconsequential.
Oh, fair enough.
If we were going to give ratings, I'd probably give it like an 8 Liam Neesons out of 10.
Nice. I think I'd give it like 7 Liam Neesons out of 10. There's a few like shortcomings throughout for me, but I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a good time.
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right.
You're my only hope.
How long have we been doing this like pre-stuff? Like
an hour 15.
Oh my god!
It's all right. What have we got to say about these 3 movies?
We're gonna blast through the fucking.
This is the whole meat and butter to the. You know,
we're getting into the meat and butter of the podcast episode.
And it's gonna be less time than the pre's.
Night at the Museum. Sean Levy's Night at the Museum trilogy from 2006 to 2014.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, we all know what it is. Ben Stiller, he's a night watchman. Take it away, Chris.
Yeah.
Just give up. If Max just gave up.
I was going to like explain the plot, but I was like, no, that's Chris's job to do the first one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so the first one from 2006 is about Ben Stiller. He plays a guy called Larry Daly. He's kind of like not really going anywhere in life. He's got a son. He's divorced. His son, he has like a very weird relationship with his son where apparently his son's like disappointed in him or something, or he keeps disappointing him. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But he ends up going for this job as a night watchman at the Natural History Museum in New York. And little does he know that because of a curse in the museum, he every night all of the exhibitions and like wax figures come to life and wreak havoc in the museum.
Absolute havoc.
It could have been good, you know.
Yeah.
It could have been good.
I thought it was
it's an interesting
fine.
concept. It could have been all right.
It's based on a children's book, which sounds about right.
Sure,
It's the sort of plot and story I think would work a lot better as just a short little kids book rather than a 100-minute movie.
I think they could have made this into a short movie, perhaps.
Could have made this into a game where all the animatronics come to life at night and you watch them through a little like TVs in a room and they come for you.
I know that one. I know. This is the movie version. Do you know what? By accident, I keep calling it Nightmare at the Museum.
Well, you're not wrong. Yeah, I think like it's not a good movie. I think Ben Stiller is kind of bad like the entire way through. He's just playing himself.
Yeah, he's
like,
naturally
it's Ben
just
Stiller and he's
not
doing
good.
his little same shtick that he always does. He's screaming a lot and like all this stuff and
Just being angry.
Yeah, it's literally
and
like
stuff.
they were plotting out the movie and they were like, who are we going to get for it? Oh, Ben Stiller. And then they just wrote the film from there. Like they just wrote a character that they knew he would be able to play without much effort.
yeah, it's like he wrote it himself.
Yeah.
I'll just don't give me a script. I'll just go out there. I'll just do what I do. And they're like, Ben, we love you, man. Go ahead and do it. And he comes out with this. It's the best one of the trilogy, but it's still not good. It's it's all right. It's all right, but it's not like it's not amazing. And I do think you kind of could make this plot amazing. It could be quite like whimsical in a way, but I don't know. Like Chris Columbus produced it, and I do think he's quite good at like adding a touch of like whimsical nature into movies. You know, he did it with the Harry Potter ones. He did it with Home Alone and all that. But this one, I just don't get that from it, and it is just like an hour and a half of like just watching, or even longer than that even.
Yeah, it's nearly 2 hours.
Hour and 50 or something. But it's just watching Ben Stiller running around and having like just like no direction.
It's
at
like
all.
having a
It's
meltdown
I guess like this will
over
happen.
stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like a series of events that kind of just happen in one place. I mean, do you know what? To be honest, I think it was fine. Like, if we're really gonna get into like the quality of the trilogy, I would honestly argue this is the best one.
Yeah.
Like, this one's fine. I didn't really love it. I didn't really hate it. It was watchable. You know, I think it was fun. Like, if someone put that on a Sunday and I was just doodling on my iPad and like eating some popcorn or something, I'd be happy. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a good Sunday
It's like a good rain
background
film,
movie.
innit? Yeah, it's just whatever.
Or a
It's
good
fine.
movie to show your kids. Like, I loved it when I was a kid.
It's
Remember
okay.
seeing it in the cinema for my birthday. Had a great time.
That sounds like a sad time, if I'm totally honest with you.
No, I was having a great time.
But we did say this when you said it the first time. We were like, wow,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty sad.
The original UK release had a McFly original song at the end, but for some reason that version isn't on Disney Plus.
I was actually really looking forward to that,
Yeah,
and then
so
it
was
just
I.
didn't happen.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good movie to watch with two friends and get fucked up on weed brownies too.
Yeah,
But it didn't-
if they hit you, that
if
is.
they hit you, they didn't hit me.
I'm actually
know about
so
you guys.
surprised. I was pretty gone by the third movie, but
That was alright. First movie felt nothing. Second movie I started to feel it, and then third movie I was like on the come down, kind of.
Yeah. I didn't feel anything from that weed brownie that Darcy forced upon me.
Sourced.
I just
found them.
Just like nothing happened, so I was just watching these like completely fucking dead sober. Like, this isn't the way that you should watch these movies, especially not when you're fucking in your mid-20s. These are not for me anymore. But I did grow up like this was like one of the movies from my childhood, as it was with Chris. I did watch it back in the day. I don't think I watched the other two, but like this one, I was like, yeah, this one's something. I guess.
Yeah,
they made this, and it was something.
I watched the second one, and it was at the point where I felt like it was getting to the point where I was probably too old for it. Because I remember really not liking it. And then by the time the third movie came out, I was like my mid to late teens. So I was like, this isn't for me anymore.
I know I'm not even like in the realms of like being like so old that I missed it, but this just was not something that came up on my childhood radar, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I don't remember ever going to school or anything and people being like, God, did you watch the new Night at the Museum? Never. I don't think that was a thing that ever hit the
I don't think anybody ever came
radar.
into school like, did you fucking see the new Night at the Museum movie, boy?
You'll be surprised at all the stupid shit that like you'd go into school the next day and be like, oh my God, did you watch that thing? But it was always like the stupid stuff that you weren't allowed to watch. Like, did you watch South Park last week? I bet you did. What? You snuck into your parents' room at 9 p.m. and watched it?
Everyone loved to watch the South Park and be like, I watched South Park.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, this was just never. This was just never a movie that I've ever. I don't think any. Like, you know, when you talk to your friends and things like from school or whatever, and you just talk about like whatever you've seen, or you know, like you go, oh yeah, that was a great film back in the day. Never once heard Night at the Museum was a great film.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it as a kid. Never heard anyone say it.
It's probably because everyone knows it's not good. Yeah. Maybe they liked it as a kid, but it's not the kind of movie that holds up.
Yeah.
But they would still say that though. They would be like, "Oh, I liked that as a kid," but I don't know any. Maybe I just don't know anyone who like watched it and admitted it. Maybe they just didn't want to tell me.
I feel like this film's lacking in so much to make it hold up. Like it just doesn't really have any sort of like for a film that's supposed to be magical, like have this whole magical like story about things coming to life at night, that doesn't really feel like there's any magic in the movie. There's like nothing like really whimsical or exciting or fun going on. It's just really bland.
Yeah, and I feel like for me to say this is probably like quite a take, but I don't think it's cute to make your dinosaur into a puppy.
They do that with fucking everything. Like, that's like such a trope.
Yeah,
like, here's this
that
like
usually
big
gets
monster
me.
thing. It's like, and they act like a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Where have I fucking seen that before? Oh, yeah. Everywhere. Because it's such a boring, tired trope. And I mean, maybe in 2006 it was fine. I don't know. It probably
Actually,
was.
maybe.
It was like 9 years old or some shite.
Yeah, so.
Whatever.
Was it just trying to make it less scary? You know, like when the kids are watching it, like, oh, dinosaur,
no, the dinosaur's going to
puppy.
eat Ben Stiller. I fucking love that guy in the Royal Tenenbaums. But I mean, for what it's worth, I thought the CG was fine actually.
Yeah, it actually looks alright
on the dinosaur, and like a lot of the
cool.
CG was pretty alright. It wasn't amazing, but I think it is
2006.
It is aged fairly well actually. So I'll give it to that.
We've seen worse from 2006.
Yeah. And you know what? I like the little gay men. They were all right. They were okay for what they had.
Jed and
Octavius or something.
Yeah, I think that's the
something
name.
like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Played by Owen Wilson and Steve Coogan.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job.
Yeah,
I like them. With
they're cute.
Their little times that they have in being little.
Little and gay.
I don't like you. I don't like you either. And then by the end, they're like, they're getting along.
Soulmates, yeah.
Like quoting Brokeback Mountain. I don't know why they needed to do that, but
It's just big at the time.
I think that was just meant to be like a joke for the adults because the kids aren't going to
I
get
ain't
that.
quitting you. That's not what he says.
I actually think apart from Ben Stiller, the acting's not that bad. I think it's all right in this movie.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I don't think Ben Stiller's as an actor. I don't think he's bad. But I think he's been in such shit that it's the Adam Sandler effect. He's been in so many bad things that I'm starting to wonder.
I think he's bad.
Is he bad, or is he just in shit roles and needs a better manager?
I don't think he's terrible in this movie. He just like plays himself, and I don't really like his.
He's like The
just
Rock
style. I like him.
The Rock.
I like him in like serious movies like Royal Tenenbaums or the Meyerowitz stories, where he plays someone maybe slightly different to his normal style.
Yeah, but this is what I mean.
Like
he obviously can act. He's a good actor. He's just in shit.
Yeah, and he was also all right in Zoolander. He plays quite a different character in that as well.
He was quite wacky in that as well.
Yeah.
But that kind of works though. I feel like you don't have to be Ben Stiller in Night at the Museum, you know?
I feel like his shtick is just kind of like the loud, like
angry
arsehole sort of character. It's kind of like
Isn't
Bill
that what he did in
Murray,
Friends?
but if he was loud.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't really get on board with him. When I think about this movie, I'm like, that Ben Stiller, what a performance. It's like, it's him. Like, he's there and he's playing off of like a bunch of other actors who are clearly doing a better job than he is. Like Robin Williams and like all these like great actors.
I really like Robin Williams in it.
He's good. He plays Teddy Roosevelt. He's not as racist as I would imagine him to be, but you know, we all get things wrong sometimes.
He falls in love with a native Indian.
Yeah, they're really trying to like this guy was the good one. Well, I don't know, like maybe in movies they do try to portray like presidents as like they were great or something. These guys were awesome. This guy was awesome because he rode a horse and he looks like Robin Williams. And I thought like all the like the waxwork stuff was like really good as well. And they like made like like they would have had to just make like a waxwork of Robin Williams to like ride that horse. It looks really good and all that stuff. It looks very good. A lot of like it just hasn't really the writing is not aged as well as the like the technical craft of it has. I think it's just like it's a decently put together movie overall.
Yeah, there's a couple transitions where like they go from like Robin Williams as like a person to him being wax. I think that actually looks kind of cool.
It does, yeah. It's like seamless almost. It's like, oh, okay, he's wax now.
Yeah.
How did they do that? That was crazy.
But at the same time, for me, I feel like a lot of what like directing wise and visually, it just kind of feels like a very bland comedy of the time.
Yeah.
I feel like this is sort of like, it's like an adventure movie kind of. I feel like you got to be more vibrant and fun and have more energy in it, whereas this is just kind of, it's shot very basically.
I think Chris Columbus should have directed it. Like he produced it, so like, why not?
Yeah, Sean Levy isn't really a great director. Although I've been watching Stranger Things, like I carried on watching it today, and he directed a couple episodes of the new season.
Oh, right.
And they're actually good.
Yeah.
I guess
I like
sometimes
that.
it's the material you've got as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for a movie based around like a museum, you would have thought like it would have delved a bit deeper into the history of it all, but I feel like sometimes it can kind of want to take the history seriously, but like with like the correct pronunciation of Sacagawea, but like other times I just couldn't fucking care less. And it's like with like the Hun, like Attila the Huns, that was all like improvised stuff.
There was
Just,
some
like,
very questionable things with the Attila the Hun
all that like Mongolian
elements.
kind of like dialect and like all the that you think they're speaking in the language. Just like it's just stuff that they're making up on the spot.
Is it actually? Is that
Yeah.
something that we just found out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there are some like questionable things that go on. I don't even know if it's this film.
When Ben Stiller's like having a conversation with Attila the Hun, and he's like, "Scooby, you don't mind,
Yeah,
you
he's
better."
like fucking clicking and shit. Like.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay. I don't really think you should have done that. But
I don't know. Yeah, it just felt really like strangely uncomfortable.
yeah. It's not funny either.
I think it was meant to be like the guys that, oh, it's kind of funny, but it wasn't funny. It was just uncomfortable. Like I thought I was kind of, is cringe the right word? I think cringe might be the right word.
Yeah.
I wanted to crawl out of my own skin.
There was a lot of cringe in this movie. Like, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
He was so fucking annoying.
Yeah, but he's like a walking cringe anyway. I don't like this man very much, and I have let that be known.
Yeah, I like
quite
him
often.
in some things. Like, I like The Office a lot. I like Extras a lot. But I fucking hated him in these movies. He's just so loud and obnoxious.
Yeah,
His
but
joke is
that's how I
that
feel
he
about
doesn't
him, yeah.
finish sentences. Isn't it funny when he says a sentence, but then he doesn't say the words that could end the sentence and he just leaves it? That's funny, right?
You've also got the Easter Island head.
Yeah, that was big,
Played by-
big in back in the day.
Yeah, Brad Garrett, living the dream.
Yeah. We
I
all
like
loved
him.
it back in the day. Oh, it's the dumb gum one. We got the gum guy because he says gum, dum, you give me gum in a deep voice, and that's funny. It's not now though.
Was there any context for that though? Like, is there a reason why?
He likes gum.
Quotable.
Well, just gum.
Because it rhymes.
Right. Okay. No, I didn't know whether there was, I don't know, some secret Easter Island
No,
head
it was like,
gum.
You give me.
It's a
gum.
baby joke that babies will find funny.
Yeah. I found
Chris
it
is
funny.
very adamant on this whole
back
like
in the day.
baby thing. Like
It's not for
he's
babies.
angry.
It's not a movie
Yeah,
for
no, this
babies.
was like when we were watching was it Camp Coral, and he was like, "This is a baby show
Yeah,
for
well, it
babies with
is.
like loud colours, baby show."
But like, I mean, what like Dick Van Dyke is in this, and like a bit of like, what the fuck? But in the beginning, it's like he's getting fired. He's like, the museum, it's like hemorrhaging money, and he's like, they want to fire us 3 guards. There's 3 guards, and they want to hire 1 night guard. I'm like, why not just like fire 2 of you and
just
keep one of you
one
on
of
as the
you?
night guard, and then you could keep like a pay. But like, they're like, no, fire all 3 of these guys, and then hire a new guy entirely. Like, what's the point in that?
Yeah, like who's going to train him and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I think there are
he
some.
doesn't get trained.
Yeah, there are some strange.
Just like, just
decisions
go,
in this
just
film.
do it. Nobody's there to like with him on his first night. The night guards, they're just like, yeah, just here's this crumbling fucking list. It's like crumbling up into a
blurry.
million pieces, and it's blurry a bit, smudged, and they're just like, yeah, just go for it. And like, is this backed up on the cloud or something? No, it's just this list.
And it's
then
like
they're
pixelated
you know
until the events happen.
The people come to life in the night in the museum, and they're just like, yeah, just go for it. Why?
Just read the list we gave you. It's like,
And then like the monkey steals it, and everyone's like, Ben Stiller, you fucking moron. I can't believe you let the monkey steal it. And it's like, he's traumatized. Like, he's going through hell at the moment, and like his whole worldview has changed entirely, and nothing he thought was real is real anymore.
yeah, like you've
like-
literally just thrown him into
But
this.
then they're like, oh, you lost the list? Oh my God. What do you like?
yeah, but the list is stupid because he'll do something and then the list won't like reveal itself
Could you
until after it's
imagine,
happened.
like, yeah, he like makes a mistake and then he reads what he should have done.
Yeah, so it'd be like, oh, check your pockets. The
I
monkey
wish I'd
might
have
have
read
stolen
this
your
beforehand,
keys.
even though it would have made no sense.
So, like, who doesn't read like the whole thing before they do something?
It's his new job. He's supposed to. You want to read it all, right? No. No, don't bother.
Yeah, because the list is magic and it doesn't reveal itself until he's done goofed.
I like him talking to like Sacagawea. Like when he sees her like before and he thinks that she's mute. Or like that she's deaf because like she can't hear him through the glass, and then he's like, are you Sakagawa? And I'm like, who doesn't know her name?
Yeah.
She was like
even
so
if you
famous.
pronounce it wrong, like surely you know how to pronounce it even like slightly close to how it is.
Are you Sakagawa? Oh, come on, man. Please. Yeah, but I mean, going back to like the stuff that I actually did like, and I do like the costume design and all that, and like all the like just Owen Wilson and Steve Coogan doing like a bang up job. There's these tiny little people, and I like when like Larry's like, "Oh, look at the mines. Do they look happy to you?" When he like closes them off in like, their little like den type thing, or like behind the glass, and then they're like all trying to get out, and he's like, "Do they look happy to you?" And then Steve Coogan's like, "No," and then So I was just like, they look sad. Like, oh, okay, that kind of made me laugh a bit, or like it would have if I like my whole mood wasn't like completely just low as fuck like the entire time. I don't know.
It was murder.
They do the Ant-Man joke where like they do it a lot in the third act of Ant-Man, where you'll see like the character's perspective and like of the short, like the small people, and it's like this huge action set piece, and it cuts to how it would be for a normal person. It's like that really small thing going on.
Yeah, they do that a lot. Like I think they do that in all three of these movies, and it gets less funny each time they do it. But I don't know. I do kind of appreciate it. I think that's probably the kind of thing like back in the day that would have made people howl with laughter.
Yeah, I remember those were the bits that made me laugh the most.
I mean,
just tiny when they're trying to deflate the car tire. That was all right, actually. I didn't mind that.
I thought it was kind of clever, but it didn't give me like the haha, that is so funny factor.
I think it's only because I've seen Ant-Man and that has like better versions of that joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's. I don't know.
Ant-Man learned it from like the museum.
Yeah.
Of course.
The museum was the OG.
Yeah, the OG and poofed.
Yeah.
There you go.
So like when the Dick Van Dyke roundhouse kicked Ben Stiller in the face.
Yes.
That was actually quite funny.
I
We
think that
found
could have
new
been
energy in the night.
that could have been the best part of the whole film, really.
Bullshit, did you find new energy within the night? Dick Van Dyke. You can't just roundhouse kick a man. You're like 80 years old.
Well, he did. It was badass. Yeah, this was fucking weird. It's like a fever dream.
I didn't get like why the son was like disappointed in his father as well. It's like,
No.
Why don't you get a real job, Dad? Shut
Have you
up.
seen the fucking job market, son? You don't have to deal with this shit. When you lay off of him. It's like, his mum's like, he doesn't have enough room left in his heart for disappointment, Larry. And it's like, when he's like,
He's just
I want to
trying
take my
his
kid
best, man.
into like where I work now. So I'm going to take him for like a little stroll around the museum. And she's like, he doesn't have enough room in his heart for more disappointment, Larry. I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? It's a museum. It's the same thing it's always been forever since its inception, and that's what makes it a museum. Like, what's to be disappointed by? It's a fucking free trip. Get over yourself, mate. What's that thing we do? Racings.
Yeah,
We'll do that. Out of
Dum-dums.
Dum-dums.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't really a very good movie at all. But it's like, I think what makes it worse is the fact it does have potential. Like, it could have actually been like a really fun, like, adventure family sort of movie. Apparently, the director Stephen Sommers was meant to direct it at one point. He did the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, the first two, and they're not very good movies, but like they kind of nail what I feel like this movie should have been going for. That kind of like really epic, like, adventure, like family friendly sort of tone. It's just like a lot of fun, but it's not like something that makes you think. It's just like kind of brainless fun, but I didn't really get any of that out of this, so I give it like 4 dum-dums out of 10, I guess.
If Rachel Weisz was in this, I would have had a better time.
If Brendan Fraser was in this instead of Ben Stiller, it would have been a lot better.
Oh,
That
man,
would have
it
been
could have
good.
been like some cool like mummy type shit. Oh well.
Yeah, I like that Jedediah Owen Wilson has an ED joke where like his guns don't fire. It's like a metaphor for like he can't get his dick up. That was funny. Not really. I like that they got Thanos by the sun. It's like if you go outside when the sun comes up, you're gonna get turned to dust, and then that caveman gets turned to dust. And it's
none of the other cavemen care.
No, and he's the only one that ever gets turned to dust ever in these movies. I wanted more dusting. It was like the original Infinity War. If Thanos only killed like one guy,
Needed more Thanosing. Therefore disappointing.
Yeah. What was it out of?
Dum-dums.
Dum-dums. Sorry, my throat's fucking killing me. 4 of those. 4 dum-dums. Thanks. Out of 10.
Oh wow, I can really see the pain in Max right now.
I'm not going. My fucking head is swimming.
I don't. Yeah, it was fine. 5 dum-dums out of 10.
Yeah. Number 2, Night of the Museum. Secret. No, that's the number one. Battle of the Smithsonian. 2009 release. Sean Levy again. They go to the Smithsonian. And they have a battle. This one's about like the Pharaoh's dad, who's like, I think he's like his brother or something, played by Hank Azaria, who's not Egyptian.
that's something else entirely.
They all get shipped to fucking the Smithsonian, and they have a battle at the Smithsonian. And Larry's a big shot now. He's done his like glow in the dark torch, and everybody loves it. So he doesn't work for the museum anymore, but he just loves those guys so much. The waxworks. Goes back and sees them, and they have a battle at the museum. Smithsonian. Yes, it's because they're all getting like replaced by fucking holograms. I don't know why. Like, oh yeah, it's a new. Ricky Gervais comes in. He's like, "Oh, it's the new technology, and yeah, like that's what the kids all. I don't really understand it, but yeah, the kids these days. They're all being replaced by fucking holograms, even though it makes no sense. Because wouldn't that be insanely expensive? Like, why bother when these things are just there the entire time anyway? Like, it's just keep the waxworks. That's what people want to see. And weren't they doing like extremely well at the last movie, where like everything was moving around and everybody loved it?
Yeah,
can't get that now, can they?
Disco party at the end of the first film.
This is worse than its predecessor, but I don't think it's like much worse. It's like fine, it's all right, it's not like anything, it's nothing to write home about. But you just got like, it's just about like the new characters, like, and then like the tablet, they get the tablet and they put it next to some other waxworks and they come to life, and then so look at the new characters. You got Bill Hader and Amy Adams and Hank Azaria, and wow, isn't this crazy? And they're all having a battle over some bullshit about like the tablet, because Hank Azaria needs it to like open a portal
for his army of the dead.
A fucking portal to like a land of the dead. Like, what?
That's like
you're
the
a waxwork.
Yeah, that's like the only plot point of this film, though, isn't it?
Why, like, is Rami Malek like? Isn't he like not supposed to be a waxwork though? Does he just like reanimate his corpse?
No, they are all waxworks.
So why?
No,
fuck
Rami Malek
like,
can't be though, can he? Because he's a
he was
Egyptian mummy.
Yeah, he was wrapped in.
I think he's the only one that's
Egyptian
real.
Yeah, he is real.
He's the only one that is.
They locked him in a tomb. Like, why? They locked him in the sarcophagus. So, like, why bother
Wait a minute, so
making him out of wax
then?
just to put him in a sarcophagus? Like, and then his brother shows up.
Yeah, because if his brother
is made out of wax, I guess.
Yeah, why would that? Yeah, why would he be able to
get it?
Yeah,
I just realised that. Like, wait, that makes no sense.
I don't really understand how the tablet works either.
The tablet is magic, and that is it. That is all you need to know.
A lot of it is just like, it's magic. It's like, just whatever. And you're not supposed to think too much about it. But
yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. Like, it can reanimate the dead. It also makes waxwork come to life. It's like a Toy Story type deal.
Yeah.
But like, at what stage during the waxwork process does a waxwork gain enough like sentience to be brought to life? I don't know.
Yeah, like does it have a wax brain and a wax lung?
Robin Williams got
how's it work?
cut in half in the first movie, I think.
Yeah.
I guess they just stitch him back together. And
yeah,
like,
they kind of glue him or something.
Yeah, they like melt his wax or something.
Yeah,
so, like,
stick him back together.
Yeah,
it is a lot of like stuff that's like that. It's like, well, what's that about then? But it's just magic, you know.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, apparently we shouldn't question.
I'm not supposed to question it all that much. I didn't really find myself questioning it. It's just like, yeah. What are the new characters like? They're fine, I guess. I like Amy Adams.
Yeah, I like her. She's really good in the movie, I think.
I like her a lot. Like, I think she's a really good actor. I think she brings the fire to was it Amelia Earhart she's playing?
Yeah.
The woman who went missing. Oh my God, where did she go? I liked her a lot, and I think she brought a lot of like charisma and like we're gonna do this thing my way, soldier, and she's like kissing Larry and all that. I'm like, okay, like it's kind of weird.
They try and force in this like love story between them two, and it literally like it's so pointless.
It literally goes nowhere as well. So just what was?
Yeah.
Is it always got to be like that? Like, ooh, sexy lady, sexy man, they meet each other, they must have chemistry. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it felt like they were just trying to force emotion into it when it's not needed.
Do you know what? It's probably because it's the only thing that had any weight of emotion to it, to be honest.
The whole first act, they try and like throw emotion at you, because like some of the exhibitions are going to the Smithsonian, meaning that they won't be around the tablet, so they won't come to life anymore, and it's like they're all saying goodbye to each other.
Oh, they're like, this is their last ride. It's like, okay.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, that was all bullshit. But I mean, it's not like completely without merit, though. You know, you have a lot in this movie that I actually I don't mind at all. Like when like Jed and fucking Octavius are like, they're like going like around like a 300 type of thing where like they're stabbing the feet of like the really tall people, and they're like with swords like slashing at like
looks really
shoes.
dramatic.
that's really fun. That's actually, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's like one of the brief moments of levity we get. That and like Amy Adams being there, you know, and you know, I just don't get much from like really anything else, and a lot of the time I'm just like, all right, I'm bored of shit, so like I'm just gonna poke holes in it. I'm like, how does this happen? And like, how does like Teddy is made of like brass in this, like he's got like a bust made of him, like it's made of brass, but he's got like human eyeballs, and that looked fucking weird as shit. That looked like really creepy when he was like talking to them and like his eyes were moving around, because he's just got like human fucking eyeballs and his brass fucking skull. Like, oh my god, that was horrendous to behold. What did it matter if like Jedediah got buried in the sand timer? He was just like made of wax. Like, what was he get? The implication was that if like he got buried in the sand, he would die, but like he's just a little wax figure. It's like, what? Like Robin Williams got fucking cut in half in the last movie. It's like, what does it matter if this little guy gets buried in sand?
It doesn't.
And then like Ben Stiller gets him back. He's like, here you go, have your friend back, and he's in the sand timer, and he doesn't immediately release him. He's just like, I guess I got him. So he just keeps him in the sand timer, and then he loses him. Oh man.
Something I also quite like about the movie is the paintings that come to life. I think that looks really interesting. I think that's quite cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, that's a concept they should have ran with.
Yeah,
they could have made a whole movie about
well,
that.
Well, they do run with it in the third movie, and if they fuck it, which we'll talk about later.
I don't even remember it. I don't even remember it.
No, now that he's mentioned it, I'm getting like flashes of like, yeah. It's a real shame, because that idea is so cool.
It is cool. I don't mind what they do with it like so much, but it is like in a lesser movie. Yeah. And that's the problem. You could do like a whole movie about like just people going into paintings, and that'd be pretty interesting and pretty cool. But they don't do that here. Some of it's all right. Like they go into that painting with like the black and white one where like the man and the woman are kissing. That's all right. I didn't mind it, like the aesthetic of it so much.
I thought that was cool.
But just like what they do in there is like, it's boring as shit. And like they just sort of run around and chase someone. I don't even remember who they're chasing. Hank Azaria gets on my nerves so much in this movie. I don't like him, man. I don't think they should have just hired a fucking Egyptian guy. They hired Rami Malek for the first one. He's actually like he's that. But Hank Azaria is just a fucking white American guy. And they're like, these guys are brothers. It's like, no, they're fucking not.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't even get like an ounce of relation.
2 or 3 times his age as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he could be his uncle or something, maybe, but not his brother.
I really like Hank Azaria, but not in this. I don't think he's good in this. He was like trying to capture Boris Karloff's accent in the Universal Mummy movie. Mm-hmm. So basically, he's just doing an impression of that the whole time.
I just don't.
And I just
I just don't think
find it annoying.
Yeah, I don't think it was suited for him. I think they could have gotten probably anyone else, to be honest.
I mean, tiny gripe might not matter, but it matters to me. It was like when he's like doing like this, here's my safe space, Ben Stiller, don't come in here. And then like Ben Stiller like touches him and he's like, oh my God, oh God, oh my God. I'm like, aren't you like the Pharaoh of Egypt or something? Like, didn't they believe in multiple gods? Like, where did you pick up? And you've like only just been animated. Like, this is your first time being alive or something.
Yeah.
How do you pick up the vernacular of oh my God? It's very modern thing.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you like that? Pissed me off.
Actually, another thing that annoyed me now that you've mentioned it. Do you remember right in the beginning where Ben Stiller has a fight with Jonah Hill?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that the most insufferable like 5 minutes of your whole life? I hated that scene so much. It was like child playground humor, like, oh,
Well,
you
like
touched me,
slapping
oh, you
each
want to touch
other,
me again,
yeah.
you want to slap me again, you want to go, and I'm like, oh my God. And it just went on for so long.
I hated the comedy just generally
Yeah,
throughout.
well, this was not funny.
It really felt like they were trying to capture that. I think at the time, like the improv comedy like style was huge in like in like blockbuster comedy movies. They had like Super Bad and The 40-Year-Old Virgin and all those sort of movies around at the time, and it felt like they were trying to like capture that, especially in that scene where he's arguing with Jonah Hill, and it's so painful.
Yeah, and you can't really do that in a movie like this because things like, you know, Superbad are like adult films where you can get away with a lot more. But in a kid's film, if this is as far as you can go, just don't do it.
There's also a bit where Oscar the Grouch and Darth Vader show up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So bad.
Why was that even there?
They wanted to join the team.
They've got like a pop culture museum at the Smithsonian.
Oh.
Well, we'll just use these guys. Why not?
Registered trademarks.
I really don't have all that much to say on it. I just think
There's not a lot to say.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
whatever. It's not like the costumes are all like really good still. I like Bill Hader's costume and maybe Adams' costume, and really all like the costume design and makeup work was really well done. I thought that's like the star of the show.
Yeah, I think the effect work is decent again as well.
Yeah.
There's, again, nothing incredible, but it holds up pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we go on to ratings then?
Yeah, sure.
Do it out of two.
Should we just do it out of that noise?
Hank Azaria, or like whatever his name is.
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria. Whose name I've gotten wrong this entire time. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I think I would have as well.
Yeah, there's things I do like about the movie, probably more so than the first movie, but I think its flaws are more apparent in the first movie. I'm not sure if I would say it's better or worse than the other one. I think it's probably just on par. So I give it like 4 Hank Azarias out of 10.
Yeah, it is kind of on par. I actually don't find it weird at all that Ben Stiller falls in love with Amy Adams. Like, you're telling me that you wouldn't? She's not wax when he kisses her. You're telling me if Amy Adams, you like, oh, here's Amy Adams. She's alive and she's coming around with me, and she's Amelia Earhart. You sound me. You're just gonna be like, oh no thanks, you're wax. Fuck off, mate. 4, whatever ones I said out of 10. Hank Azarias. 4 Hank Azarias, thanks.
Now I just can't stop thinking about all these fucking existential questions about wax working,
Is it
autonomy.
ethical to make out with a waxwork?
Does it make sense?
If they turn human?
I don't know. Is there anything about that? Anyway, 4
Cool.
Hank out of 10. We're on the final piece of the pie, boys. The best one of the lot.
Best one.
Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Another Sean Levy classic. From 2014. And the plot, supposedly, the tablet of magic from the Pharaoh man is going to die. Rami Malek starts decaying. They need to go to England and reunite Rami and the tablet with his family or something and save the day. I don't fucking know. I don't know. This is what it's. He's spanned the globe, Larry, this man, uniting their favourite characters together on an epic quest. I don't know. I was too far gone at this point to even know what was happening.
They go to England?
Was the other museum? Yeah, the other museum was in England. They do.
Yeah.
So Rami Malek has to go back to
I feel like that description's a bit...
It does. It says spans the globe.
They go to England.
Yeah, they go to one other country. They make it sound more like exciting than it's meant to be.
I mean, full disclosure, I really don't remember it all that much. I watched it a couple of days ago. It's very forgettable.
The only thing I remember was when Chris just went, the paintings. I was like, oh yes, the paintings. Oh, and Dan Stevens melting. That was it. That's all I remember.
Oh yeah, Dan Stevens, and he's like
melting.
Who's he? Lancelot.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, Rebel Wilson's in this one, and fuck off, Rebel Wilson. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she sucks.
She's not good. Dan Stevens is all right, I guess. He's like fine.
Yeah, he's all right.
I don't mind him. He's the pretty boy who plays Lancelot.
Yeah.
I don't know why Lancelot was in a museum, like an actual legit museum, British museum.
Isn't he fake?
It's like they go to the British Museum. It's like it's the Arthurian legend, right? Like he's part of that.
Okay,
people didn't actually exist, so they say.
Well, who knows? To be fair.
Yeah, there's a scene where he crashes a play that Hugh Jackman is in. Yeah, that was a bit.
That was very bizarre. I kind of appreciated it though.
I kind of cringed when he fucking did his Wolverine pose. I was like, "Oh, come on, man."
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh God!
But the only reason I didn't like that was because it made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh God, no."
The kids will know who I am if I make the Wolverine pose.
Okay.
You all saw X-Men, right? Came out like the same year as the first film, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking hell.
And I do think the quality of like what's this, like 5 years after, and I think the quality of the fucking effects and animation like kind of drastically decreases.
Yeah,
which is really bizarre, isn't it?
That's
like
really weird fucking lighting going on here, and like they're like the monkey attacks Ben Stiller's face, and like the shadowing is completely off, and like there's like points where like there's like yellow like splotches on them, and like the makeup like is just terrible.
Oh yeah, everyone
looks
jaundiced,
like flaking off her skin or something.
Yeah, that bit was really gross. I was like, why is Ben Stiller like so like orange-y? It wasn't even like a tanned orange. It was like
it's like they had too much of a budget.
Yeah,
almost. It's like it feels quite high budget, but like. Like at least the first one didn't feel like super high budget. It was like for the time it was like interesting, but like the premise was interesting, and like they did well enough with the budget that they had. Where this is like they have too much money and they don't know what to do with it. Just like I guess we'll just like put more layers of makeup on them,
and we'll just hire more actors.
More actors. We'll give Ricky Gervais like a big swanky house, even though it makes no sense. Like he's like the curator of a museum, or like he's like the director of a museum. Like, why does he have this much money? I don't know. Isn't it like charity based? Aren't museums like charity based?
Yeah, a lot of them are donations. Yeah.
I don't understand why this movie exists. Like, because not only does it just feel like a cash grab, like there's not really anything new in the movie. The story doesn't feel like it needs to be said. They don't really add anything to the universe, but it came out so long after the other two. Like the kids who watched the first two when they were younger, they're like going to be teenagers or adults by the time this came out.
Won't it be like the whole we want to make a trilogy so that we can watch it or release it as a trilogy. That kind of like
got to release the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
box
you got to release it as a set.
Yeah, Sunday Movie Marathon can review it.
Yeah,
because they review trilogies.
I feel like they just they waited too long to make it.
Yeah, and you know what I was just thinking about how like they. And I know I was having a gripe about people talking about like how you uncanonize something, but they literally undid their whole logic in this movie where they were like, oh, the tablet is going to stay here, but all of my wax friends are going to go back to New York in the night and somehow still be alive the next night, which doesn't
We'll leave
make
the tablet
any sense.
over in England.
Yeah.
And then you guys, you will die. Like, just to be clear, you will die.
Yeah.
We're just going to have a walk around memory lane for a bit. You guys can stay alive till then.
Yeah.
It's like Ben Stiller had the power to turn them to ash.
Yeah, it was, and then they go back to New York in the span of one night, and it's still dark when they get back, and then they're alive.
They managed to do the entire movie in one night, including going from New York to London,
which is at least 10 hours or something, isn't it? Like, it's ridiculous.
Spending an hour of the movie on this adventure and doing all this shit, and then going back to New York while it's still dark.
Yeah, apparently it was like a 24-hour night or something. I don't know. Nothing makes any sense to me. It just undid everything that the first two movies set up.
And Larry has a huge house as well. He's got a huge apartment. Where do you get the money to? You're a night watchman. He goes back to being a night watchman because at the end of the second one, he sells his fortune to fund the museum again.
Yeah.
So he gives it he makes an anonymous donation to the museum. So in that he loses all his money, but he still lives in this huge fuck off apartment.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he made another product or had another company. I mean, it could be anything, to be honest. Movie logic doesn't.
Yeah, people don't like
anything.
watching poor people, so.
Yeah,
that's how the High School Musical films made me feel.
It is disgusting. Yeah, I will. That is fair. Do you like the part where fucking the monkey, he's really big and he pisses on the lava? They do a lot of monkey piss jokes in this trilogy, but that one took the cake. I tell you. Pisses out the lava.
Yeah, that one was so stupid.
What do you guys think of La?
He sucked. It's just Ben Stiller and a fucking.
Oh, is that the caveman?
A caveman. He's a caveman now. They're we love Ben Stiller so much. We love Larry because he was a great guy to us in the museum. So here's laugh for you. Here's this mannequin of you as a caveman. Isn't that funny?
That's very unflattering as well.
He falls in love with Rebel Wilson.
Yeah. Why did they hire her?
She was big at the time.
Yeah, that's
hire
true.
A British person. Her accent is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually
Just sounds
thought,
Australian.
Yeah, okay. I might be seeing more analysis into this than the film probably put into it. But I thought the joke was that they hired this Australian lady to sound British because the joke was that she's not British, but she sounds foreign. Sounds foreign.
They literally just hired
her
her because she was a big actress.
See, because I thought that could have been at least kind of funny. Oh, ha ha ha, she has a funny, accent that Americans might think is British. Ha 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 ha. That's what I thought the joke was. Which is actually a bit more meta than, what they would have thought it was, probably.
And speaking of, weird casting choices, I don't know why they keep getting Ben Kingsley to play, Asian or African people. He's
Who's
a
Ben
British
Kingsley?
white guy. He's the bald guy who plays the Pharaoh. He's Rami Malek's father.
Oh, right, yeah, I don't...
They always get him to play
yeah.
fucking an Asian... He played Gandhi, for fuck's sake. He's just
I don't know, Indian man
paint him
to play.
orange. Just paint Ben Kingsley orange and they'll be fooled by that. He's English. He's an English man. He was in fucking Sexy Beast, for crying out loud.
That doesn't...
The most British guy ever.
He's British Indian.
Have you got a picture? Well, at least he's got Indian in him, I guess. Okay, I guess.
He was actually born Krishna Pandit Banji.
I mean, okay, if he's got the heritage, then
name.
I'm not going to rag on that because
He was born in
it's whatever.
Snainton.
Where the fuck is that?
He was fucking born in Snainton.
I have no idea what that is. That just sounds made up to me. Did you make that up, Max?
No, it's in fucking Scarborough.
Oh my god, he's from Scarborough.
Yeah, I think he just comes from Indian heritage.
He's
So do
Indian
I,
heritage, but
motherfucker.
he's
I'm
from
not going to
York.
play an Indian on TV, though, am I?
Oh
yeah,
my
but
god.
you could do.
But I won't.
I mean, you could though.
If I did, they'd be like, oh, look at this fucking white guy.
But you wouldn't play an Egyptian.
No. But he's not even that.
Actually, yeah, he's Indian, so that's okay. But you're not Egyptian, so that's not all right.
I think the real takeaway from this discussion is that if I wanted to play an Egyptian, I could.
Well, apparently, yeah. Because Indian and Egyptian, apparently, what's the distinction in the eyes of who made this? Who made
Sean?
Oh no, like who production-wise made this movie?
Fox.
Yeah.
Fox. They know. Oh yeah, of course it's Fox. So they know nothing. That's like the whole meme of The Simpsons is that they know nothing. So.
Going back to what we were talking about, the paintings, there's a sequence when they go into an Escher painting in this.
MC Escher, yeah.
And it's so awful. It looks ugly.
Do you know what the worst part is? That painting is so great, and they could have done so much cool shit with it, and it just looks tacky.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've seen them basically do that same sort of thing in stuff before, like
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
One of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies has a whole sequence in that painting.
Yeah.
And
You know
it's
what I'm
not
talking
good,
about?
but
It's the big staircase one that's like all the staircases go off in like different directions. And, like, up and down. People are like going up staircases from different perspectives.
Yeah,
and it's a really iconic.
It's an
painting.
optical illusion painting.
It's really great.
It is. It's very iconic. If
they
you
do
Google it, you'll
fucking
know
nothing with it. It looks like an Instagram filter in this movie.
Does it? It looks like, you know, when someone goes on Snapchat and like puts on like one of those filters where they're like filming. It looks like that. It looks so like it's not good, which is a real shame because it really was a cool idea. But no.
I mean, I actually did like all like the stone statue works, like moving around in that one room. I thought, this is fucking creepy. This is weird. And all the statues, like, because they can't move because they're made of stone, it's just like they're kind of shifting around a bit, and like because they have no mouths, so they can't talk. And I quite like that.
Oh, right, when they go and see I'm thinking of the second film again. When they go and see the thinker, but I think that is the second film.
Yeah, it's the second one.
Yeah, there are so many things that like play off of the second one and they do in the third one, but then they unwrite the logic of the other films whilst playing on the ideas of the second film.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did this. What was the decision behind
I think my favourite bit in this movie is when they kill off the monkey Dexter, and then
That's your favourite part.
yeah, because they make it like really emotional, but it's just
I thought it was really sad.
Then he comes back and him and Ben still make out.
Oh god,
yeah. Are we actually?
A
Yeah.
lot.
Are we actually going to address
a lot?
Are we going to address this? Because
We're addressing it now.
What the fuck was that all about?
I guess they loved each other.
Yeah, but what I don't like, he's horny for wax figures and monkeys.
It's like, is the weed brownie hit now? Like, what's going on? Why is Ben Stiller making out with his monkey?
Do you know what? To be honest,
It's
I was at the point where I was
they
like,
just got a real monkey.
Did he
And they were
kiss a
like,
real
"Ben,
monkey?"
Just kiss this monkey over and over
No, that's got to be a
again."
CGI monkey. There's no way he kissed a real monkey. That's like,
Yeah, he did.
no, that's how like cross contamination happens. You don't just do that.
Do you think he demanded that be put in the script?
I bet he did.
I formed a bond with this monkey over the course of 3, but Ben, it's not the same monkey. I formed a bond. I need to kiss it.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, that was the best part.
That was
the
truly
best
so.
part.
That was
Because I mean, the plot is nothing. Like nothing.
There is
happens.
no plot.
That was the plot. The plot was the love of the monkeys.
They should have done like got in with that.
They should have ran with that.
That should have been the whole movie.
What, like his he finds himself and he's like, my sexuality is furry. I'm gonna become is it a zoophile? That's what I'm gonna become.
I mean, it's just evolution, baby.
I mean, yeah, okay. If
Born
we're
from
really going to get
monkey.
into the deep and gritty, I guess so, yeah.
Born from monkey, back to monkey.
What even? This conversation is just like derailed into
Do we
like
have anything
madness.
else to add to this movie, or should
There
we
is
just
nothing to
wrap
say
it up?
about this movie.
No,
so
I thought the kid was horrible. Like, he was just awful. Like
What?
the kid who
the
played
teenage
Larry's
kid.
teenage kid.
Oh, yeah.
Sucked
Yeah,
so
he
bad.
sucked.
One's in Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, he's
That's
good in
why.
that
Do you
one,
know
though.
what? When you're in Licorice Pizza, you basically suck. So
No, he was good in that movie. He just wasn't good in this.
Rate it out of monkey.
Yeah, let's rate out of monkey
Monkey.
loves, monkey loving, monkey kisses, monkey.
Rate out of monkey.
Monkey.
Just monkey. No plural.
Monkey.
Please.
You seen the video where like Uguay is like monkey? Chad's like, oh, he's like monkey. You are monkey. That's great.
Yeah, this film didn't need to exist. It's pointless. It doesn't add anything to the universe. It's a complete waste of time. It was like the shortest one of the three and somehow felt the longest because nothing was happening. I did not like it at all. I give it 3 monkey out of 10.
Monkey. 2 monkey out of 10.
3 monkey out of 10.
Thanks.
It's too
Thanks,
late in the day
Sean.
for me to go into that.
Thank you, Sean. Love you.
Free Guy 2, please.
Free guy to forever.
Free guy
and-
never. Actually, I know he's making a second one.
Okay. Thanks. That's the Night of the Museum and some other ones. Next week, we already know what we're doing. It's episode 85. And that means we got to do season 1 of a show. The show is Barry. We're going to watch that. That's on Now TV if you're in the UK. We know that every month we do like the first episode of the month was supposed to be like a free-for-all. We all choose like a movie. Okay. We didn't do that. We've completely forgot. So this is that instead. So you get Night in the Museum instead. We're going to do the free-for-all in episode 86. So tune in next episode to find out what we're going to pick. Thank you for listening. Social media. Hope I can get through this. My voice is really fucked up, man. I can't tell you. YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon. Twitter is at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook is at Sunday Movie Marathon. And Letterboxd is at Sunday MM. Capital S, capital MM. Thank you. Any last words?
Monkey.
Legalize monkey marriage.
Legalize monkey.
You have shown me monkey.